What's good? Oh. How we doing, peeps? Oh. How's it going, Northwest? How we doing, brother? Good to have you here. How we doing tonight? Shout out to Paradox as well. I just saw your chat. How you doing, bro? Hope everyone's well on this fine Monday evening. Hanging in there, same old, man. Well, maybe not in the same way. Shit's been good. Had a bit of a long day with the little one. Apart from that, man, everything's been good. How's everything? How's everything in your end? Only 4:31 p.m. here. What do you do like throughout the day? I feel like I've got like a laundry list of questions I feel like I want to ask you about your lifestyle. You know, probably obvious questions that you've already been asked. Same shit, different day, basically. I hear you. It's the mundane aspect of life that kind of it's the monotony of it. Do you know what I mean? Doing the same shit every day is what gets to you eventually. 303 week, baby. That's right, Aaron. I'm pretty psyched about that. Do you know, I'm gonna be honest here. I thought 303 was next week, or so the week after next for some reason. A video nearly done. I can't wait to see it, brother. I cannot wait to see it. Late as fuck, can unsubbing. My son was up late tonight, so I kind of had to deal with that. How you doing, MGal, bro? How are you? It's good to have you back. Ariel hinted at Tapuri and Holloway for 307 in Utah. If that's true, does doing it in altitude change the outcome of the fight? Potentially. That's an interesting choice. I don't know why they would do that. Seems like a dumb thing. You're the goat of MMA YouTube. I wish that was true. I'm like the retarded goat. I'm like the goat that came out a bit wrong. It's got 3 legs and yeah. But I appreciate having you here though, bro. Very surprised that it's not the headliner for the Sphere. I don't know what direction they're going to go in with that. I imagine they're going to put on like it will be like Grasso and Shevchenko, and then in their fucked up heads they're going to think that they've done enough work for it. I have a feeling the first Sphere card is going to be very underwhelming. It's going to be like UFC 300 all over again, where they hype it up for like months and months on end. But you know, they claim they've spent a lot of money on it already, so. You and Dougie's corner right to go. Oh, Dougie's killing it, bro. I wouldn't mind if they had like O'Malley and Marab as the main, and then they had Shevchenko and Grasso as the co-main. It wouldn't be that bad. And then they filled out the rest of the card with like, you know, if they threw like a Diego Lopez on there, hopefully coming off a win. I wouldn't be too bad with that. Leon holding Shavkat's belt. Bilal sucks. Yeah, Bilal's been out there saying some very annoying shit lately, as he always does. He seems to be really obsessed with like I know he got really badly mogged by Strickland in that video, but he seems to take every opportunity to run at Strickland whenever he can, which seems like a dumb move to me because Strickland's kind of mad. Yeah, Shavkat's my guy. Shavkat's in a bit of a weird place though. It seems to me like they're gonna wait. They're gonna wait for They're probably gonna do Shavkat and JDM, and it will probably be September, November times. Yeah, Shavkat's probably my favorite fighter right now. I know people would assume that like I follow all the British guys. I'm not like that at all. I've got no partisan loyalty whatsoever. Yeah, Shavkat and JDM at Utah would be interesting. That wouldn't make a bad co-main. He will smash Jack. I definitely give him the edge. I haven't even been thinking about 307. I mean, we're you know, we haven't even got to 303 yet. And 305 has only kind of just taken shape. We're kind of getting a little bit of hearing about what's happened. Low output Allen versus Giga. That fight is secretly so good and no one's talking about it because that's how good 304 is. I think Giga Chikadze is shit, if I'm being honest. So I'm hoping that Allen, because if Allen doesn't win that fight, it's basically curtains for him. This is kind of his, all right, let's get back on track because Giga's not that good at all. Allen should win. Allen's a much better fighter, and Allen can go to the takedown if he needs to. So I think Allen's gonna fuck him up. But I can see it being 3 rounds. Where's mediocre Marvin Vettori? I don't know where this guy's been for a bit, you know. I don't know where he's been because he hasn't fought in a long time. Marvin Vettori. And I don't think he was injured from what I heard. But he went through a period where he was like really, really active. Yeah, so the last time he fought was almost a year ago. Actually, having said that, he got fucked up by Cannonier. He got fucking smashed. So that's why Brandon Allen fought Chris Curtis. That's right, he did get injured in training. I'm not sure how severe it was, but he does seem to be out of it. So that's actually fair. Hopefully we'll see him back soon because as much of a meathead as he is, I do enjoy him. I'm looking forward to this weekend though. I think it's going to be a fun card. I've got like a family dinner thing to go to during the day, so I'm hoping that it ends at a reasonable hour. Shavkat has one good win against Jeff. It's more the manner in which he's doing it though. Like the Jeff Neal fight wasn't. If anything, it kind of showed that he's human. If like I still love Shavkat, but his stock kind of lowered a little bit for me in that fight because I was like, nah, he's gonna get hurt by somebody. The Stephen Thompson win was a really good win, and you know I know a lot of people talk shit about Neil Magny, but he's quite hard to finish. He's got some good wins. Like the Carlston Harris win hasn't aged very well. But no, the Neil Magny win, that's still a good win. And finishing him, not the easiest guy to finish. Jeff Neal was obviously a war, so he showed that he can take a bit of a slap and not, you know. And the Thompson, people talk shit about Thompson's takedown defense, and his takedown defense isn't unbelievable, but he's never been subbed. So to get a sub on him as well, I don't know. To do what he did to Stephen Thompson to me was really impressive. I thought it was great. Fan of Movzar. I'm not really a fan of Movzar Evloev. I think he's boring as fuck. He's had a decision in every UFC fight he's had. I'm not the big Evloev guy, and I think he should have lost to Allen. And that dickhead of a referee, worst referee in the game in my opinion, fucked up for him. 2 good wins, yeah, but I mean it's what it is. Weston is, even though he's probably got 2 high level wins on his record. It's the fact that it's like Mgal was saying. It's like to have a 100% finish rate after 18 fights is so rare in this sport. So whoever it's against, because you know, with every fighter, even if they're fighting cans, they've always got the odd like terrible decision in there. With him, it's not like that. He just pretty much fucks everyone up. I reckon Burns would smoke Shavkat. Prime Burns would have been a hell of a difficult fight. Burns now, the low T version of Burns will get fucked up. I think Burns is on his way out. And it hurts me to say that because I love Gilbert Burns. No, padded records are a thing. It's true, but like, I mean, even if you look at people like Khabib's records and people like that, they have like cans all the way through, but then you get the odd decision in there because sometimes you just have a bit of a rough night. You don't get the finish. You dominate a guy, but you don't get the finish. Shavkat starches everyone pretty much. He manages to find a way to get the finish, and that's something to be I think the Burns prior to, so the Burns that kind of was, that got himself to a title shot, I think he'd be very hard for Shavkat. I do. I think Burns is very high level. But he kind of, you saw him aging in that JDM fight where he just wilted. And I don't love that. And I know he got injured in the Bilal fight, but he looked horrible. And I kind of feel like he made excuses a little bit. He gave up very quickly in that fight. And he didn't look good before he got injured. So I don't know. I love Gilbert Burns, but he would get destroyed by Shavkat now, I think. Tats knows. You're right though. Padded records are a thing, and the thing is, it's a weird one here because you can partially only beat the people that are in front of you. He didn't want to mess with JDM on the feet at all. You mean Burns? JDM is elite on the feet. Like JDM's boxing is brutal. Like I'm a big advocate for when people go to the body a lot. I think people that go to the body, I think it's such an underrated thing to do in MMA because most people just seem to spend the majority of a fight trying to headhunt. Like JDM hits very nasty shots to the body. And I think people that understand body investment, they're very tough to get out of there. And they're very tough to beat. And I think that's going to hold JDM in good stock. Like I think the JDM Shavkat fight is, there's a case you can make for both guys winning that fight. Because JDM's horrible on the ground, as I've said multiple times, but he's got good takedown defense. And he's got good hands. I used to smoke weed. I think the last time I smoked weed, I was like 24. I used to get blazed on a regular basis. Will you come to America? I've been to America several times. I've been to New York. I've been to Los Angeles. I've been to I've been to Vegas. Been to a few places. I definitely need to get around them a little bit more though. JDM has a great chin as well. Never been rocked, but eats the odd haymaker. Part of that as well is because he's young. He's only 27, and he's quite thick for welterweight. I don't usually worry about people's chins until kind of later on in their careers. Like they tend to, and after they've been in a few wars. Unless you're somebody like Gastelum or Holloway or Vittori who just has like insane chin genetics. Cheeto would be another one. I'd be interested to see how far that chin holds up when he's been in a few wars. I don't see JDM getting smacked and getting dropped anytime soon. That would be like post 30. Burns hit JDM with a elbow and he ate that shit. JDM got all he could handle in that fight. Burns is elite, man. Gilbert Burns is elite. He doesn't have to rely on it too because his high guard is really good. Yeah, I mean, welterweight is probably the second best division in the UFC right now in terms of skill level. I think bantamweight is hands down number one. Like bantamweight all the way down to 50 has some dangerous fuckers like throughout the entire thing, but welterweight's pretty good now too. Like, you know, I'd say those two are kind of clear ahead of everywhere else. JDM would also smoke Shavkat, in my opinion. It's not a terrible take. I think people are I hate using the word glazing, but they are elevating Shavkat to, because Shavkat looked very, very human against Jeff Neal. He looked hurtable. But then there's an element of Shavkat of when he decides to wrestle you and drag you down and submit you, there's very little you can do about it. And he is good enough on the feet to kind of contend with anyone. But he does get hit. Bantamweight and welterweight are by far my favorite divisions. They just are. Like the thing is, yeah, I think the skill level in flyweight, for example, is fucking sick, but there's no personalities there apart from Cap. Featherweight is basically, there's a massive skill gap. Like you've got like Tapuria, Holloway, and Volk, and the skill gap drops significantly after that. But in bantamweight, you could be like, I mean, Marab's out there like completing side quests while he's waiting for O'Malley. I saw that on Twitter this morning. He won some kind of like combat sambo competition, like at national level. These are the levels that these guys are at. Like there are sick bantamweights all the way through the division. Lightweight is basically controlled by Islam now. He's going to be champion for as long as he sticks around. But welterweight, there's genuinely competition. Middleweight's kind of, I'd have middleweight probably third, because middleweight is like the title feels like hot potato right now. You know, we're probably going to have our third champion this year. Sadly, featherweight is a hetero division. The problem with featherweight's in a very similar position to where lightweight is now, where people, if you look down the top 10, top 15, there's a lot of people either coming off a loss or they're not on a win streak. How you doing, Christian? Good to have you back, brother. Yeah, Dougie's corner is killing it at the moment, and he's getting really creative with his lives. Like at the moment, because I've had my hands full with my kids. All I've got time for really at the moment is kind of jumping on in the evening and just checking in with you guys. I haven't really got like a solid plan around what I do with my chats. I just sort of want to keep consistent and give you guys the opportunity to jump in and, you know, chat. Drickus Izzy, who you got? I'm very sorry to say, but I predicted at the start of the year that Izzy was going to win. I said that Drickus was going to beat Sean, which I was very lucky about. And then I said that Izzy was going to beat Drickus and end the year as champion. And I can see it going that way. I'm sorry to say. How you doing, Jay-Z? What's good, brother? What city in England are you in? I'm in Cambridgeshire. I used to live in London, but I moved out when I had kids because it's too dangerous in London. Yeah, shout out to Dougie's Corner. I'm not sure if he has hit 1,000 subscribers now, but he's very close to it. He got over it at some point, and then obviously people mucking around. But I think he's like the last time I watched a video of his, he was like 3 or 4 subscribers away from hitting 1,000. Which, trust me, for a YouTuber, that feels like the toughest milestone to get to. So if you can help out Dougie's Corner, that would be fantastic for those of you who haven't already. O'Malley chins Marab. Probably. He's definitely, I'm probably going to favor O'Malley, but it's a tough challenge. Holloway or Ilya? I might go with Holloway, you know. The only thing that's making me a bit wary is I didn't really want Holloway to go back down to 145. He looked great at 155. He's obviously gone. Do you know, I'm probably going to go with Ilya just because of that. Because Holloway took the time to get back up to 155. And now he's going to have to cut again. And at his age, I don't know. It could be a case of the style makes fight situation. I will be genuinely shocked, Weston, if I get to 1,000 by the end of the year. To be honest, like I was sitting at about 500 at the start of the year. And I said to myself, oh, if I can get to like 750 by the end of this year, I'd be delighted. So the fact that I'm already there is sick. I'm there's no way I'm getting to 1,000 by the end of July. There's no way. I reckon end of the year at best, if I'm lucky. The thing is though, Holloway is 32, but he's like a war. He's gone through the wars at 32. You know, he's got the wear and tear of like a 35, 36-year-old. I know he looked great against Gaethje, but if you think about what Gaethje's gone through over the last 6 or 7 years in the UFC, like there was a point, in fact, wasn't it going into the Holloway fight that he had more strikes absorbed than dished out? You can't live your career like that. I might pick Max. I'm skill for skill. I would go for Max. And I do. It's again, it's the styles make fights thing. I can see him and Volk and Tapuria handing the belt around, like in that way. Sometimes people just have to beat of each other. We're gonna make it happen. Can't 1,000. But bro, I wouldn't even be anywhere near 750 if it wasn't for you specifically. So I appreciate it, man. The winner of Umar Sandhagen is the guy that threatens O'Malley. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Umar is very overrated. My only problem is like he's obviously fighting Sandhagen in Abu Dhabi, and I called this again. I reckon they're gonna rob Corey. I reckon Corey's basically gonna have to knock Umar out to get a win, and I'm not sure if he does that. I reckon even if he wins 3 rounds to 2, he's screwed. He's basically gonna have to win 5-0 to get his hand raised in Abu Dhabi. He just is. Who do you guys think is going to win between Umar and Sandhagen? I know there's a lot of people are on Umar. I don't really understand it. I know he's Dagestani. But that's what I'm hoping for. I think Corey is because Corey's a different guy to the one that fought like like Aljo and like he can wrestle now, and his striking is really good. So Corey for me is probably the most well-rounded guy at bantamweight right now, in my opinion, and that's saying a lot considering how good that division is. So I'm banking on Corey banging him out. That's my hope. And it's not even that I dislike Umar. Umar's actually quite funny. I don't dislike most of the Dagestani fighters. I just hate their fan bases. I have faith in Sandhagen's striking. So do I. Sandhagen has a case for being the most well-rounded guy in the UFC. That's what he's become now. Like the way he like his striking is so varied. Like what I love about Sandhagen is he works everything. Like he's landing leg kicks. He's striking to the body with kicks and punches. He doesn't headhunt, even though he's got that in his locker where he can head kick the shit out of you. He's got really good clinch knees. He can wrestle really well. His jiu-jitsu game's really developed. Like a lot of people might think I'm talking bullshit on this guy because he does have some losses in his career. I don't think he lost to Piotr Yan. I think it was razor close. I don't think it was a robbery. I thought he beat obviously he destroyed Vera. I thought he beat what's his name? TJ Dillashaw as well. So if you strike those losses off his career, the only one that really stands out to me is like a really bad loss, clear loss for Corey, was the Aljo one. And he just got caught. He got backpacked and choked. Like made a mistake. He was a little bit younger in his career. But then, back then he couldn't wrestle. So now the guy's wrestling's good. There's very little that Corey Sandhagen can't do. And he seems to have a little bit more of that killer edge about him as well. They're adding Bassroot in UFC 5 tomorrow. Fucking hell. Do you know what? Yeah, I still haven't bought UFC 5. I still haven't bought it. I'm like, until they sort out those connection physics, I'm not buying another UFC game again. I might buy it when it's like really, really, really like, when it's, if I can pick it up for like $20 or something just to add it to the collection. But I'm not paying $50 or whatever for a game that I'm not going to play, especially a game that I think is flawed. I need to rewatch Sandhagen versus Yan again. It was a great fight. It was razor close. Like, I think it's one of those, when we're discussing like whether a fight's close, whether a fight's a bad decision, or whether it's a robbery, that Corey Sandhagen and Yan one kind of falls into the close fight. If anyone got their hands raised, nobody could have complained. Both of them had 2 clear rounds, and then there was that 5th round. I don't even think it was round number 5. I think it was somewhere in the middle where you could have made a case for both of them. Very similar to the like people talk a lot of shit about the Reyes and Jones fight. Both of them had 2 clear rounds each, and there was one round that was like, don't know. Personally, I thought Reyes won it, but I don't think it was a robbery. I think it was just because it's Jones, and I've said this before. People are up in arms about it like it was the worst robbery of all time. It wasn't. I think it was because nobody was expecting Jones to be challenged in that fight. And the fact that Reyes was touching him up for 2.5 rounds, people were like, oh my God, he's winning. and then it kind of got out of hand from there. But it's definitely a fight worth rewatching. It was a good one. Took the words right out of my mouth. I feel much better when you agree with me, Weston. And I've managed to get 25 minutes into the stream without you calling me a cuck or a fucking nerd or whatever. I'm putting words in your mouth now. You've never called me either of those things. I thought Yan won, but that fight was beautiful, so it might be worth a rewatch. It's one of those ones that's definitely like you realize the skill gap that there is in the organization. Like when you watch cards every week, you notice there's a massive skill gap between the top and the bottom, which there should be. It's not like everyone who turns up in the UFC is obviously the finished article, but you get a fight like Yan and Sandhagen, and it's like, no, these guys are like, and especially in a division like bantamweight. But it's crazy because Yan obviously got the win over Sandhagen, but you can argue that Sandhagen's way further ahead now. Sandhagen's had some losses, but people think that he should be next. Kind of like Holloway and Yair. That was an amazing fight as well. Very high level. Absolutely right. I insulted you earlier to get out the way, but you skipped over it, did I? You know I always read them out. Sorry if I missed it. If you feel like if it was a fresh one, you feel free to get it in again. I'll probably go back to the beginning at the later on and just see exactly what it was, because I try to look at it as constructive criticism. I didn't like the Sandhagen TJ decision. I'm going to be honest with you, Jay-Z. I bet on, I don't know why I did it. I bet on Dillashaw that night because I kind of see him like a sociopath. Like, I think the guy's genuinely got something wrong with him. Like, if he wasn't like a fighter, he'd be like a serial killer. He's got that kind of. So I felt like he would just have the hunger coming back to prove himself. And I'll be honest, it was another one of those situations where I got to the end of the fight and I thought, well, that's that parlay gone. And it was again a fight to close out the parlay. And I'll put it this way, it felt like I stole one. I thought it was like a clear 3-2, and you probably could have made a case that Corey won it 4-1. He didn't lose that fight. I don't know where you get 3 rounds for Dillashaw. I don't know where you get that. It's like how a lot of people thought that Dillashaw got robbed by what's his name, Dominic Cruz. I thought Dominic Cruz won that fight 3-2. There's loads of fights we can add to that. Was it a robbery? Was it not? We're definitely going to do that as like a tier list. That's the thing. That is paradox. That's exactly it. Like Corey, when he lands, he does a lot of damage. It's because he varies up his strikes as well. When you get out of a fight with Corey and you go 5 rounds, everything's fucked up. Like you've got a knot on your head. You're probably shitting blood. Your legs are fucked up. Corey has developed this meanness about him, and he fucks you up. He's just that guy. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think anyone thought like with the Yan one, I think everyone was like, no, we think he beat Yan, but it was close. With TJ, it was like 3-2 is being generous to TJ. And I mean giving it 3-2 to Corey. I reckon you have a case to have it 4-1, in my opinion. Just like Wonder Boy. Which is the Wonder Boy one you're referring to? Wonder Boy's been on the end of a couple robberies as well. It's weird as well. Like for some reason, all the people in here are from YouTube. There's no one in here from. I just got an email from Neighborhood Watch. What the fuck? I didn't know I was part of the Neighborhood Watch. Guess somebody's trying to register on my behalf. When you said psychopath killer, oh yeah. Wonder Boy definitely he definitely has some extra activities where he's a bit weird. He's got a van, his karate van. I find that a little bit creepy in that as well. Nobody's that nice. You know how I feel about people who give this image of, oh yeah, I'm so wholesome, and then I get in there and I try to fucking inflict brain damage. I'm not buying it. Like I find that the people who act like psychopaths and then go in like they act like they're insane. Like Mike Perry would be a perfect example of that. And they go in there and they go to fuck people up. They're people I can relate to. This whole like, oh no, I'm this wholesome guy. I love my family. I'm gonna adopt I'm gonna adopt everyone. And then you go in there and you try to smash people's brains in. I find that very unsettling. I don't know what it is. Definitely some. I feel like I say this every stream now. I just want it embedded in people's minds that when they find out Chandler's been like burying fucking drifters in his backyard or whatever, that you heard it here first, and that I knew it, that I spotted it first. But yeah, shout out to you, Paradox. I can't wait to see your new video. And I know that Aaron's working on some stuff as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're cooking up. I would say this to anyone, like if you feel like making a video, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. And especially for you guys now, you've actually got like a lot of people that would have your back. Like I know I would, I know that Dougie would, I know that ITP would. There's so many of you where you could just like you'd have an instant like people would support you. You know I will. Chandler versus Thompson for the sus MF belt. There's got to be a name for that, you know. It's like it's not the nicest motherfucker. It's something else. It's like could maybe like Chandler's just lost his mind right now. He's fucking unhinged. He's there's something going on with that guy. I can kind of understand it. I mean, he was probably due to get, from what I understand, he was probably due to get paid over $10 million for the He's probably due to get paid $10 million for the McGregor fight. That's what he's rumored to be getting. Fakest motherfucker. You could throw Kobe in there as well. Yeah, Paradox is next up for the YouTube boost. He's in the crew. Paradox is next in there. Like this community we've got here is the next level, man. You boys are unbelievable. Fakest motherfucker. Yeah, he is. I can't. I with Stephen Thompson, I'm less. I just think Steve Thompson is Steve. I don't know why I'm calling him Steve. I think Stephen Thompson is genuinely that soy. But with Chandler, there's something off there. There really is. I've called it. I've just felt this way for years. What do we reckon for let's pull up UFC 303. Who do you think is going to win between Smith? Let's get a poll going actually, just to kick things off, just to get some early readouts, because I think we got like razor close on the parlay last week. It was who was it that let us down? It was fucking Volkov winning. Everyone picked so we went 4 for 5 on the parlay that we built as a crew. And it turned out to be Volkov that fucked us up, the guy that I picked. But that's the way it crumbles. Hang on a second. Right, let's get this. Yeah, I did manage to eventually find who is it that wasn't turning up? We got Ozdemir, and the Ozdemir one was good. All right, so we're gonna start with Anthony Smith, and actually no, we'll start off with Gary and Paige. We'll start off with Gary and Paige of who we think is gonna win there. Let's start off with Gary. Volkov was a lock. You said it many times. Yeah, I know. It was Paradox and it was Western that had we were the ones who had Volkov. And I'll be honest, yeah, I kind of bitched out on that one a little bit. I think Gary might win this one, you know. I've been saying it for a little while as well. I'm kind of with Gary. I don't want him to win. He's a twat. But I think I don't. I don't think MVP is that good, and he's too easy to. His takedown defense is horrendous. Just don't. No, the thing is, yeah, with the picks thing, I don't really mind it. It feels like it's that's part of the game on the Friday. I'm like, do you know what, whatever you guys pick, because to be fair, like most of the time in the chat, people go for who they genuinely think is going to win. And I do make my like I made another parlay as well. So I do two parlays every week now. One is just one I do myself, and the other one is obviously you lads. ITP boys in the building. Where's ITP gone off? Yeah, if you guys could smash a like and subscribe, that would be great. I'm kind of stuck in around 760 now. So if I could get a little bit of a boost. How you doing, Brody? Hi and bye. Um, hell yeah, thank me. MVP is good, but very unfortunately, Gary is very good. Yeah, the thing is, yeah, people hate Gary and they think he's a twat, but he's actually a good fighter. So I think Gary's gonna win. Gary is a bell end. I'll smash the like it's Grasso. Good man, Cobro. Yeah, there's definitely some Grasso lovers in here. Not really my type personally, but how you doing, Kloss? These ITP raids always come at the best time for me. You'd almost think I was doing it on purpose. But I appreciate you boys turning up. If you could like and subscribe and all that, I hate asking, but it really helps. It really helps to get a little bit of a boost in here. So yeah, how's the poll looking? Oh, we got 13 votes. Let me see. Ooh, Paige. Everyone's voting for Paige. I'm interested in that. Gary got off to a nice little lead. So most people think Paige is going to win. I think that's kind of interesting. I'm personally going with Gary. I think Gary's going to get it done. I'm not thrilled in saying that because much like everyone else, I really hate him. But yeah, I just don't think MVP is that good, and I don't like his takedown defense. I think that's the part that worries me the most. I think his takedown defense is what's going to be the problem, and Gary's actually pretty well rounded. But I appreciate you ITP boys stopping in. Much love. I feel like we got a goddamn cold. If MVP lands that spinning elbow and Gary, it's over. Especially the Gary that got cracked by Kanan Song. Have you heard of BBL Gary? I'm going to be honest here. I'm from the UK. I didn't know what BBL meant. I didn't. I'm not in with the streets anymore, you know. I moved away from London ages ago. Like the lingo, I don't know the lingo anymore. Oh, I get it. Brazilian butt lift. Is that what it means? So he's like the faux McGregor. Yeah, Gary's been trying to be McGregor for years. I think the poll is done with. So you want to do dang dude, you have to bag a divorced BBL MILF that tans. Man, do you know what? Yeah, I'm done with females, bro. I'm done with females. I don't want to say I'm going to try the gay thing for a while because I'm not really into, penis is the issue. But no, I'm done with females, man. They're all fucked. How you doing, Chris? Chris, you're not really an ITP raid guy anymore because you're here quite a lot. But I appreciate guys coming over from there. I didn't know that. I assumed that ITP was going to be on for a while. Now he's on to men. Me, I don't think it's that far off, bro. I don't think it's that far off. I've had I've got plenty of good reasons. One day I'm going to get absolutely razzed on Streamy and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you my whole story and you're going to be like, oh, I get it. True, I'm a bad MMA guy now. Bad math MMA guy now. Switch teams. I appreciate that, brother. How you doing, Betty? Bro, get a Rwandan woman. They will treat you right. I've been with a Kenyan woman before. When I say been with her, I mean I was just smashing. And that, to be fair, that was it was a good time. was when I was living in Qatar. Funnily enough, yeah, like it was weird, yeah, because like she worked in KFC, and I didn't realize that at the time. And I met her like 4 or 5 times. She used to come over, and one day she came over in like the KFC outfit, was wearing the hat and everything, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm never gonna see you again." I didn't say that. Obviously smashed one more time, but I didn't call her again. I learned a lot about myself that day. I'm a cunt. Um, Rammed on stream. I mean, Betty, you know that anything's likely here, especially when I've had a few bevs. Like, we might get to that stage. We may get there. I was just smashing. Sounds like some good MMA math to me. Yeah, black girl in a KFC outfit, and she wasn't like from Kenya, as in she's like, she lived in the UK and has Kenyan. No, no, she was from Kenya. Like she had just arrived from there, like I think a couple of months beforehand. So she'd spent her whole life living in Kenya. Maybe I'm being a bit too honest. But that was years. It was literally like, I mean, when was I living in Qatar? It was like 10 years ago, maybe even longer. Was she thick? She was nice, but she was a little bit taller than me. She was quite tall. I'm like 5'8". She was like five. She was like maybe 5'9.5". Kenya pick MVP. Oh man, I don't even know what to say to that, bro. That is low hanging fruit. All right, Shavkat and JDM. I will do that. I will do that. Let me. So, oh wow, the poll ended at 50. Oh wait, what's happening to this poll, man? Jesus Christ. So we ended it with page 60-40. I might do the poll again on Friday to see if people's minds change. But we should. So what did you want to do, Aaron? Was it JDM, JDM and Shavkat? Let's do that because I am curious about this one. I bet you Shavkat washes it. It should be closer than It should be closer than that. So we'll do Shavkat. Shavkat. If I can even fucking spell Shavkat correctly. Shavkat and JDM. There we go. Let's get that up and running. I'm happy to tell any conquest stories. I mean, I might as well just go all in now. I just reminded small Asian man to raid you after stream. Yeah, he's a good sport, man. I saw you in there being like, thanks very much, Asian. Hang on, I'm just making sure I'm keeping up with the chats here because I've been be unbiased. MVP is the savior we need. Based, yeah, Paradox is based as fuck. Rent free, good to have you here, brother. Gary by decision 29-28. That's kind of where I'm leaning as well. I think he's gonna edge it out. I can see it being like, yeah, I can see it being close. And just like a technical striking battle and Gary just getting a little bit more, landing a little bit more. Because when MVP doesn't turn up, he's really hard to watch. Plymouth thinks Gary wins convincingly. Yeah. I hope that's not the case because it would basically be over for MVP if he gets starched out. I would love to see Chris Gray take on Paradox in a. I saw Chris Gray fighting with Khabib versus Michael Johnson, and I can be honest with you, Paradox, you were getting your ass whooped. You almost got subbed by Johnson was dominating Khabib on the ground. If that's anything to go by, I'm not sure if you were playing it on hard or what, but okay, I'm starting to catch up. Stop the count. 5'8". Bro needs to move to Japan, not Rwanda. Yeah, I'm not a tall dude. I'm not a tall guy. In Rwanda, I'd probably get mogged. I'm just imagining 4'11" ITP on a basketball court. I can't figure out if ITP. He looks like he could be like average height, like 5'5", 5'6", is what I was assuming. He could be 6 foot. I don't know. Very hard to tell on stream. Chris Gray, you're five. I keep on nearly accidentally calling you Chris Gay. I need to be careful, especially as you're 5'11". ITP is 5'6". Yeah, that's what I would have assumed. That's what I would have assumed. Kloss is like, nah, he's 5'2". He's a good lad, man. I see what he's very generous with like he's very good for like sanctioning the raids and whatnot, which is really cool of him. Jay Z is like, yeah, 6'4" would have been. I would have probably said anything between 6'2" and 6'4". Jay-Z, you look like a big lad. Don't fuck with Jay-Z. And Weston, you're like 5'9", 5'10". I feel 5'10" from what I remember. Cobra's I'm 7'1". Uh ITP is the man, all 5'2" of him. Do you know what? Yeah, it's weird, yeah, because I didn't know that ITP's channel is his main channel is massive. I didn't know he had a live. I would have been jumping all over there. Nas is better than Jay-Z. We talked about this before. We've talked about rappers in this stream before. We've done the Biggie and Tupac one, which got fucking heated, by the way. We talked about Nas and Jay-Z. Yeah, anything comes up in here. It's all good. I'm used to it since a kid. That was one of my first insults to get me in school. Turning gray to gay is fucking like, I can't tell you my surname on here because obviously, like, you know, I don't want people knocking on my door. I know how people are on here, but I had a pretty bad one as well. Hang on a sec. Yeah. Jake Gerber collab. Who's Jake Gerber? 5:10 in the morning's good, man. Then would give them a smack, and it's a weak one for sure. Yeah, it's grade 1. That's grade 1. You can get more creative than that. Turning gray to gay is just fucking. That's weak. That's weak sauce right there. 100%. Thanks for those new people who have subscribed. I was on 765 like yesterday morning, and it just goes up and down. It's crazy. But I'm really grateful to whoever does. Jake Gerber makes some of the best technical breakdowns, to be honest. I think he competes or something. That's somebody that I have not heard of. How's our Shavkat? Oh, Shavkat's winning the poll, but not as convincingly as I was expecting. Let me see this Jake. Hang on a second. I'm always looking for new dudes. No Jones. Jake Gerber. Jake Gerber MMA, all right. Dude, I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna give him a try. You can tell him I was sent over here by you. Full Jones, bro. I've it's over for me. Like I've had too many Jones moments in here. Like let's be real. If I announce one day that I'm into sausage now, none of you are going to be surprised. None of you are going to be surprised. The Weasels breakdowns are great unless it's Volk versus Makashov one. I think we've talked about this in the channel before as well. I think Weasel's channel is actually a good idea, but as I know Weston kind of agrees with me on this one to some extent. It's like the main issue with his one is how he distinguishes between like a light strike, a medium strike, and a heavy strike, because that is a very, very subjective thing, and he uses that to kind of frame his arguments most of the time. Like I've seen him in countless fights basically be like where somebody gets blatantly smacked and he's like, "Yep, that was a light to medium strike," and then he'll land a heavy. He'll land a heavy as like a jab as like a heavy strike. You're like, how are you doing this? The thing is, Jay-Z, what we're going to do is like, we were planning on Sunday to do like a tier list of like based on 3 criteria. So it's going to be close fights, bad decisions, and then outright robberies. And we were going to rank them from all time. And then at the start of every Sunday, we're basically going to look at, because let's be honest, Jay, there's a robbery or a bad decision on every single card. And then we were just going to add stuff. What was the fight that got you hooked on MMA? That's a very good question. I would say it was probably as far back as like because I was kind of into MMA. I'd watch MMA, but I wasn't into it like watching it on a weekly basis. I would say probably what sparked me off would be or got me watching it every week would be the Maynard and Edgar one, the one that went to a draw. I was like, fuck me, like this, like, because I was a pure boxing fan at the time, and I used to watch very little. Joanna Whaley one. We've talked about this before. Joanna Whaley is the one that because we've discussed this. Like, if I was to get a new person from MMA to watch a fight where I go, yep, this is what's happening over here, I would do Joanna and Whaley, because if I can show a new fan what women are doing to each other, I can then turn around and say, fuck me, imagine what some of the dudes are doing. You know, it was the second fight between those two that went to a draw. You've been watching since 2011. I've been watching, so basically I've watched every card since 2011, but I was more of a casual before then. I was a bit more of a casual before then. Hang on, Western. What did I miss? I got the 5:10 in the mornings. Oh, when I'm doing heavy tree work, I have to adjust my rear view up in the morning and down after work. Yeah, I would say that it was probably those two that got me into it. But then Joanna Whaley would be the one that I would say to people if they're new to MMA, watch this. Like, and then I'd use that as a gateway to get them into other stuff. Chris Lieber knocking out some random with red hair got me hooked. It's usually a viral KO that gets most people. Oh, thanks a lot, ITP, and again, thanks a lot for sanctioning the raid, bro. You're an absolute legend. I'll be back over to yours tomorrow. I don't think I'm going live tomorrow, so I'll be spending more time in yours. And I appreciate you stopping by. But that would be kind of capped though. Most chick fights are never like that, but it's not a bad choice. Yeah, it's more because like it's for that reason. It's like you wouldn't expect that from a female fight. But you see, most people get into it by seeing something like a viral KO go down. For me, when you just get a war where people are beating the fuck out of each other, that's usually the ones that for me wrote me in. Yeah, Jax is going live tomorrow. I'm not sure what time he's going on. I think it's 9. I think he's going on at 9 o'clock my time. So definitely check him out. He's been quite sick as well, so he's going to be grateful to come back. He's going to be delighted to come back for sure. But thanks a lot for stopping by. Thanks a lot for stopping by, ITP. I really appreciate you. You've been instrumental in getting this channel to where it is as well. So thank you very much, you ledge. Nunes versus Pena 1 is a great one to get people into the sport. It's only like 2 rounds. The thing is, it was such a surprise. I obviously prefer Nunes and Pena 2 because Pena is one fighter that I hate more than any other. Like, I think she's an insufferable twat. And watching her, I was much happy seeing Nunes beat the fuck out of her for 5 rounds than if she'd knocked her out in like 2 seconds. I wanted to see her get a prolonged beating. I really dislike Pena. I don't know about you guys. I can't stand the twat. Yeah, thanks for posting that in here, Aaron. I appreciate that. Jax will be very happy to have some people over there. Pena is such a bitch. I love it. Like all I think about from Pena is her just sitting in the crowd, deluded, while Nunes is retiring, going boo, boo, trying to convince people that that Nunes ran away from her after kicking her ass for 25 minutes. I wish Pena was my school teacher back in the day. She fits the role. Like you and Mikey would get on really well because he thinks Pena's hot. I think she is a dog. Now I'm not saying that I wouldn't, but let's put it this way: when the act was over, the Uber would already be on the way. Like as soon as that nut goes off, the Uber would be pulling up. Do you know what I'm saying? Actually, I'm absolutely talking bullshit. I wouldn't go near her. I can say that honestly, and I'd smash almost anything. Like we know that. Um, I don't want to see nice women involved in MMA. See, close. We've had this conversation because, like, I think the MMA females are capped at a 7. I think the hottest MMA female is like 7 is the limit. It doesn't go higher than a 7. Tabitha Ritchie, maybe. Tabitha Ritchie's pretty hot. She's got a MILF factor to her that I dig it. She looks like a trans woman. Pena does. She looks like she's whopping a massive sausage in there. I meant nice lime attitude wise. Nice like attitude wise. She sounds to me like she'd be hard work. Can you imagine living with her? Man, she'd be a nightmare. She'd be a fucking nightmare. Baby Shark is hotter than a 7. I will give you Baby Shark. Tabitha Ritchie's probably, I mean, I don't think she's as high as a 9. I mean, if we're talking about women the world over, Baby Shark isn't a 9. But she's a solid 8. She's a solid 8. Diana Belbita is a solid 8. There's a couple. I mean, can you name any MMA females that are like really above a 7? Ariane Lipsky is a 7. I'll give you Ariane Lipsky. Makes wearing glasses makes me stay after school to do extra homework. Swing. Yeah, you gotta have a type. I prefer a character like Pena over generic Brazilian lesbian. Lauren Murphy, bro. Actually, Lauren Murphy's not that bad. I always Cortez is a 7. Cortez is all right. The only thing that kind of ruined Cortez for me, we're talking about females again. I'm really sorry, Aaron. I know you hate this, but you gotta let the guys have their time to vent. Do you know what I mean? No, Valentina don't do it for me. Valentina don't do it for me. She would definitely fuck you in the ass, bro. Jocelyn Edwards has a 9 out of 10 ass. She fucking doesn't, bro. Jocelyn Edwards has a flat back and no crack and a 210 head. That's at least fair. But as you know, like you guys know this here, sometimes the more hideous they are, the better the experience. I'm sorry for this as well, Weston. I didn't lead us down this path. This is not my fault. This is what happens when you get red-blooded males in here. The reason why Weston and Aaron are pissed off about this, and they're correct to be, is we've had this conversation. I feel like we have this conversation every 2 streams, where it's like we just start judging women. Norma Dumont can use my face as a chair. Nah, she don't do it for me either. Basically, it's up to you guys the way the direction of the chat goes. I can't control what you feel about talking about. Okay, can we swap to something else? I'm a new viewer. We can talk about anything you want, bro. Anything. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits. Most important conversation. I feel like when the new people turn up, they feel like talking about it. It's good. Strickland versus Cal. That if they do Strickland versus Cal Barajo, they are really doing him dirty. The thing is, yeah, we all know as well, yeah, that they're gonna do Strickland versus Whitaker. Definitely. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna fuck both of them over. Because they're both in a weird position. And again, this is what really pisses me off about the Adesanya getting the shot. Because he shouldn't he shouldn't be jumping ahead of those two. It just shows how fucked up it is. Cal versus Fluffy poll. I will do that for you. Because you know, bro, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to influence anyone in the chat. Not that it would. I will do this one for you because I happen to I just typed in Fluggy. If they are doing Fluffy versus Cal, that's actually a fight that makes sense. Being real, I think that's a fight that makes sense. Quite honestly, has that been? Don't tell me that's been announced. I'll be fucking gutted. I'm sorry, Chris. Fluffy drowns him. I think Fluffy is a top five middleweight. And the thing is that the reason why I'm devastated, the reason why I'm a bit, they would be doing. I think Cal Baraujo is really good as well. I think he's potential top five material as well. But I hope they don't. It's a very interesting matchup. I'm glad that that hasn't been announced because I don't really want to see them do that yet. Because I don't want to see either of them get derailed. I'd rather see both of them fight someone, and they've both earned it. I'd rather see both of them fight different people in the top 10. I was researching recently, blasphemous. Yeah, Cal. Like the thing is though, the trouble is Cal versus Fluffy kind of makes sense. I know that Cal tried to call out Whitaker, which was extremely delusional. He's nowhere near a Whitaker fight. Like if I was Whitaker, I'd fight Hamzat. I would fight Hamzat in October, November, because I think Whitaker would beat him. And then if he beats Hamzat, he's guaranteed a title shot. Because what Strickland's going to do is Strickland's probably going to wait, and he's going to get bypassed. Cal called out Jared Cannonier. I like that more than that. Makes sense for Cal as well, because Cannonier's probably going to be ranked like 6, and Cal's thinking I need to get I want to get some matches that are going to get me as close. That's a very good call out. That is a very good call out. You want somebody that's older, winnable, that boosts you up those rankings. Like Imavov taking that Cannonier fight was fucking genius. He hadn't fought for 14 months, ranked number 3. Bro, you have to take those opportunities. And Cal's probably thinking the same thing. He's like, I can see a clear path. He's just come off a loss. That's a really good call out. And I think he might get it. Because I don't think they should do Imavov and I don't think they should do fucking Imavov and Cannonier. Like, Cannonier turned around in the middle of the fight and ran away and was wobbling around. I don't care what people say about that being an early stoppage. You can't do that in the middle of a fight. Vittori versus Fluffy. I think that would be I think Fluffy melts him. I love Marvin Vittori, and he's a Chad. He's got a sick chin. He's not technical. I think Fluffy would fuck him up. I think Hernandez has just got something. And the thing is that he's got that kind of I think he's got the best body base for MMA. You can tell he doesn't really put that much into weight cuts. He comes in there. I get the sense with Fluffy that he's skill building the entire time. Hang on a second. Sorry if I'm missing somebody's chats, boys. I'm fucking useless at this. Cal versus Cannonier would be a good one. It really would. Hermansson versus Fluffy. Hermansson's a weird one. I do think Fluffy would beat Hermansson as well. But Hermansson's a tough out. Hermansson wins the fights you don't expect him to win, and then loses the ones you don't expect him. And because I expect Fluffy to beat him, Hermansson's basically a party pooper. He's a parlay killer. He wins when he's not supposed to, and he loses when he's not supposed to. And I would be gutted if he was the one to take Fluffy out of the out of his ascension. Vittori's rhyme for the picking as well. I mean, coming off an injury, not that skilled. He's got a good ranking. Vittori's a good. If you're basically in that 10 to 15 range, Vittori's a very good pick out because Vittori's got a chin. You know, he's got a Chad chin, but he's limited in what he can do. So that's a great call out. I agree about Hernandez being top 5. He looks very hard to beat, 100%. Hamzat versus Costa and Pyfer versus Robocop are also fights I'd love to watch. I'm not too high on Pyfer. I never was. And I picked Hermansson to beat him. Actually, no, I said that my prediction was that either Pyfer's going to knock him out in the first round or Hermansson's going to beat him. But to be honest, I kind of thought that Pyfer would get it done. So I'm talking bullshit. Or you meant Bruno, not Cal. You mean Bruno Silva? Bruno Silva's out of here, bro. He's lost like 4 in a row or something. He's shit. And he obviously got. I think he'll probably get one more fight because of what happened with. I mean, he just lost the goddamn eye poke or not. He lost to Chris Weidman. Um, Baralho's knockout over Rodriguez is so satisfying. Baralho's really good. I wouldn't be surprised if Hamzat gets Brendan Allen or Costa. I think they're gonna do. I think they'll do Hamzat and Costa. I think that's what they'll do. I see them making that fight. You've got to send Hamzat back down the ladder now. You've got to. He's fucked up too many times. I know it's not his fault that he's getting sick, I suppose, but you can't justify putting him in a main event and then Bruno Ferreira versus Greg Rodriguez. That would be a good fight, and that's one that makes sense as well. They're both kind of in and around the same range, and Bruno Ferreira's got that pop to him. He's the cooler Kobe Covington. What about that Pyfer jab though? Pyfer looks like he should be a murderer, but that I think that Jack Hermanson fight showed us a lot. I don't think he's got the tank. Vettori has bad entries. He doesn't throw punches correctly. He's grappling his ass, and he's not technical at all. He's not technical whatsoever. He's just got the chin from hell. That's basically what Vettori's got going for him. He's got a decent gas tank though, but the way that Cannonier beat him up was a life-altering beating. Hamzat versus GM3-2, bro. He doesn't deserve a big fight. I'm sorry to say it. I know it sounds harsh, but he doesn't. RoboCop versus Vettori is the matchup we need. I'd love to see that as well, and it would be interesting because I don't think anyone can chin Vettori. Vettori he's on the goat mountain of chin genetics. Like him and Marlon Vera. It's crazy. What's up, Close? He hella gassed. It's really good having you in here, Kloss, but I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Maybe you can help me out with that. Middleweight has. Hang on, sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna get. Yeah, is the current middleweight lineup the deepest it's ever been? No, I would say when they had like Tim Kennedy, Yoel Romero at his peak, when they had Jacare Souza and Whitaker was just coming into division. You had Bisping, you had Luke Rockhold. I think that's when middleweight was at its most stacked. But the problem is during that time, the belt was getting held up. Like the belt getting held up by Bisping was the worst thing that happened to the division because Romero ended up getting shifted. Jacare Souza got too old then. Tim Kennedy got starched out and left, got injured. And obviously what happened to Luke Rockhold happened to Luke Rockhold. But I think during that time that the middleweight division was full of just absolute monsters, like in the top 10. I do think middleweight's good now, but I think that era was just it felt like anyone could have been champion at that time. It really did. And Bisping beating Rockhold was kind of testament to that because Bisping was probably at the bottom of all the middleweights that were doing well. Bisping was probably the least likely to be champion, and the fact that he got hold of the belt when he did was testament to how fucking stacked that division was at the time. And it was the personalities as well. But middleweight for me is the third best division now. Jax wrote an article about it. He did. Jax writes for MMA Sucker. So if you're somebody who goes on the MMA Sucker website quite a bit, he is somebody who regularly uploads articles there. Middleweight is a solid. This is one thing I do have to agree with. And so it's a kind of a combination of what Jay-Z is saying. I would say the potential at middleweight right now is better than it's ever been. It honestly is. Yeah, do get over and watch Paradox's video out because as soon as my stream's over tonight, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to jump over there and watch Paradox's video. That's Paradox the Chad. But yeah, I agree with Close and Jay-Z. I think like the potential of where it's at is unbelievable. We've got good guys at the top, And again, it's always, you can always tell the strength of a division when the champion doesn't feel safe. How you doing, Side A, my brother? Good to see you here, bro. Yeah, you can always tell when a champion's not secure. That's kind of where you're at. Can't stay for too long. Got to get ready for go to camping tomorrow. I hope you have a great one. I've got a day planned with my son tomorrow as well, so I'm probably going to stay until about. I'll probably stay for another 40 minutes to an hour. I would say is the maximum I'll be able to stay today. So I'm not going to be here too long either. But I appreciate you stopping by. Absolute legend. And Side also has a YouTube channel as well. So like I said, you have no idea what it means for an up and coming YouTuber to get you over to when somebody gets over and subscribes. It really helps get things around. So if you're somebody who doesn't mind throwing a subscribe somebody's way, Side A and Paradox to Chad are up and comers who could definitely use the support. So please do that. I love the middleweight prospects. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like you said, man, having Mikel Pereira thrown in the mix as well. I think that guy at middleweight is a problem. He could get as far as, I wouldn't say he's going to be champion by no means, because his gas tank is awful, but and he's stupid, but he's dangerous. I could see him getting to top 5 as well. You've got guys like him and let's look at middleweight right now. We'll look at middleweight unofficial rankings because middleweight. We'll look at Tapology because I think it's a fairer representation. So let's pull this up together while we're on the subject. Sorry, I will come back to the chat very, very soon. But I just want to show you where the middleweights are at, just to get kind of more context on what we're talking about. All right, so I mean that top 5 is crazy. Cannonier, Allen, Chimaev's at 8, Vittori, Costa, Hermanson, Baraujo's at 12, Pereira, Delizzi. The fact that Delizzi's above Hernandez is very stupid to me. Curtis at 16, Muniz isn't great. Robocop's very dangerous. Paul Craig's not really a middleweight. Pfeiffer's a good up-and-comer, very young. Aliskarov, I know he just lost to Whitaker, but it's goddamn Whitaker, and he cut 3 times. Bruno the Hulk Ferreira, a little bit limited, but he smashes guys out. Kopolov's really good. Even Ju Yong Park isn't terrible. Rodolfo Vieira's a little bit of a balloon animal. Shara, I'm not too convinced about him. GM3 is a fucking monster. Bo Nichols, who Bo Nickel is. I mean, you can clearly see it. Even Malkoon being at 35, Malkoon is a very good fighter. Fucking Oleg Zaychuk's 37th. Nah, middleweight sick. You got Christian Leroy Duncan down at 40. That is wild. Petrosian at 41. Oh, they did Kamaru Usman dirty there, having him at 42. Abus at 43. Jesus, man. I mean, you got fucking Kizraev, who's 14-0 at 50. Nah, middleweight's sick. Middleweight might secretly be the second best division because it's more stacked. It's more stacked down to the top 50 than welterweight is. All these chats, and I never knew. Feel free to watch on stream if you're shaking in your boots in excitement for the masterpiece. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm definitely going to comment my ass off on that. I need to make videos. Y'all inspire me. Close you do, man. Jump on it. If you got a love for MMA, it's so simple to do. And the hardest part is getting started. It really is. Episode 1, why Leon Edwards is overrated. Bro, videos like that are what get the attention, you know. Basically, what you got to do is you've got to go like down the Kenny Okoji route and just say the most outrageously retarded shit you can think of. And the internet's stupid. They'll jump all over it. How you doing, Antoine? We were just talking about you going live tomorrow. Are you still planning on doing that, by the way? See you at the top. God bless. See you at the top. What rankings are these? Those are the middleweight rankings we just looked through. Yeah, 185 is mental. 185 might be secretly more stacked than welterweight in terms of if you're looking at the top 50. 145 is kind of the problem with 145 that I've got is the top 15 is not that good. They've kind of like beaten each other. You've got like the very fact that Evloev is sitting on the doorstep of a title shot kind of says it all. Because you've got like Allen and Chikadze, you've got Emmett. All these guys have had losses. So you've got a lot of guys who were in the top 10 who are sitting on they're sitting on losses for sure. But 145 is a good division. I just think it used to be one of the marquee divisions and it's kind of fallen off a little bit. What's up, making the walk? We've been chilling. How are you? I'm not gonna lie, I think Tenny's takes aren't that terrible. Kenny, the one thing I'll say about Kenny, he's not doing it for interactions. Like he genuinely believes the things that he comes out with. He's not just for saying, "Oh, I'm going to glaze on Adesanya and other people because I'm just going to get people to get mad at me and jump in." He's not that guy. He genuinely believes what he's saying. So in some respect, in some aspect, I've kind of got respect for him. I don't agree with him. I think he's fucking delusional. I find him a little bit annoying if I'm being honest, but I can be annoying too. It kind of depends on what your feelings are. It's very hard to please everyone, but he's doing his thing. He's doing very well on YouTube. He's doing very well on Twitter. It's hard to knock what the guy's doing. It's working. So fair play to him. You found myself agreeing with him many times. What in particular about him that he said do you agree with? Yes, sir, I'll be live tomorrow for sure. So you'll be on live. Is that 9 p.m. UK time? And it's like 4 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? So again, subscribe to Making the Walk MMA. Anton, if you wouldn't mind sticking I'm sure somebody's linked to put a link in already, but if they haven't, please do that. 145 unranked is the second best division. I'd have to look through it again. I know that 145 is one of those ones that does have good prospects coming up as well, but it's like I think bantamweight is clearly ahead of everyone. Then it's kind of out of middleweight and welterweight for what's coming up. That's my feeling on it. Healing up, yeah. You were really unwell there, weren't you? It fucking sucks. I wasn't gonna come on yesterday. I was hungover and I'd just been traveling. I was like, bro, I don't think I can do it. But I'm glad that I came on yesterday. The banter yesterday was pretty sick. It's always good with you lot in here. Ban Side, joking. Side is my guy, man. So I need Side around because not only is his MMA knowledge sick, but then whenever I feel like talking about video games, I can count on Side to get involved. Like as soon as games come up, everyone else just leaves, and it's just me and Side just talking shit. Oh, we all agree in 135 is the best division. It's hands down the most stacked division. It's not even close. It's not even close. And it never used to be that way. The one thing that bantamweight's lacking a little bit is it's lacking personalities. Him saying Adesanya was winning the first Pereira fight until the KO was fact and Lucas was disagreeing. I did agree with him on that. Adesanya was due to win when it got to the 5th round. I had Adesanya up 3-1 in that fight. That's 100% correct. But then he'll also come out with things like Adesanya's the greatest striker in the history of the UFC, which is just factually stupid. Especially after his last fight, he spent 25 minutes getting slapped around by Strickland. You can't turn around and say that then. You just sound like an idiot. And essentially, what bothers me about Kenny Okoji the most is his biases are so stark. It's Nigerian fighters and it's Islam Makhachev and everyone else can fuck off. And that's just how he feels. I do agree with you about the Adesanya winning the first fight, though. That is somewhat true. But it's the only thing he said that really made sense in that entire debate. I really don't like. Do you think O'Malley is number 2 pound for pound? I don't. My number 2 pound for pound is Islam Makhachev, and I have Alex Pereira top. And everybody always goes at me for that. But I think we made a video about it last week, and I think I made a really good case. I think with Alex Pereira having beaten 5 former champions in under 2 years, and doing it at two different weight classes. I know he lost to Izzy, but he was winning that second fight until he got sparked. And he's gone on to have an unbelievable. I mean, to come from kickboxing and to do what he's done is unprecedented. To win belts in two different divisions and to defend them, the guy is overly active. He would have fought. I think it's when he fights next week. He would have fought 4 times this year, or 4 times in a calendar year, which is crazy. And the guys that he's beaten, Yeri was coming off a 13-fight win streak, starched him. He beats Hill, who everyone was sucking off as maybe unbeatable. He beat fucking what do you call it? Jan Blachowicz, who was a difficult fight for everyone. But I wouldn't mind anyone who says Makashev's number one. I wouldn't mind that either. But for me, it's one of those two. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there. Hang on. I really don't like Izzy, but he's one of the best strikers we've ever seen, and I feel like people love to hate on him because some of the boring performance. The thing is that I will agree with you on that on Side A as well. The thing that I don't like is that Kenny goes on like he's exciting every single fight, and I perfectly agree. Listen, if you're Izzy, yeah, and your opponent is going to let you leg kick for 25 minutes and they're not going to do anything about it, of course you're going to win that way. What winning should come first before entertaining. And especially when you're the champion and you've got a bullseye on your back, you win whatever way works. And if you're able to span leg kicks from distance and win that way, you take it. It's a dangerous fucking sport. You have a limited time in here. And obviously, the longer that you're champion, the more money you make. So I fully agree with you. But I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's the best striker. I think there are ways, and there are ways that have been proven recently that there are certain styles that Izzy can't handle. If you've got good takedown, if you've got good defense, and you put forward pressure on him, yeah, that's where I'd do it. Yeah, get over to sub right there. You can't. It takes two to dance, 100%, and I agree with you on that. I do. I think for Izzy, I have no issues with Izzy as a fighter. It's his personality and the glazing that goes on amongst his fan base that I hate. Kenny means well, but his Nigerian bias really shows, and it does. It really does. Like he said that Kamaru was in the. He said that Kamaru won both fights against Leon, or was winning both fights against Leon, and I agree he was winning the first one, but Leon won the first round, and it was at altitude. He just glazes over what anybody else does, 100%, and it's just not. It's very stark who he sides with. Where do you put O'Malley pound for pound? He's definitely in the top 5. I'd have him in the top 5 now. I'd have him above John Jones as pound for pound right now. At least I'd probably, off the top of my head, I'd probably say he's 5th. Let me have a look and see what the current pound for pound list, UFC pound for pound list. I'd have the. I mean, I've talked about this before. I think the pound for pound list is straight up retarded. So for me, I've got Alex Pereira first. He's currently 4th. Then I've got Makhachev second, but those two are kind of interchangeable. See, even Leon Edwards is 3rd. I don't really agree with that. And I love Leon Edwards. I'd probably have Jones 3rd, maybe. What am I talking about? Jones isn't 3rd. Jones has fought once in like 4 years. So I'd have Leon Edwards 3rd by default. See, even Topuria being 5th, he's only beat Volkanovski and Emmett, basically. Those are the only 2 big wins he's had. You could argue that Volkanovski should still be ahead of Topuria. So I'd have O'Malley probably. So to answer your question in the most long-winded way I could have, I would have Sean O'Malley 5th right now. 5th or 4th. Are you Side A? Are you gonna make me make the Who Really Won Alex Izzy video if you keep yapping like this? Paradox, I would love to see your take on it. I would love to see your take on it. But yeah, Leon. Yeah, but Leon, base UK Chad, and Izzy, gay Chinese soy. It's hard to argue with that. I hate Israel Adesanya's personality. I hate it, and I've said this multiple times on stream. Izzy would have been the guy if he just shut the fuck up and just fought. As soon as he started showing his cringy, weird personality and talking, that's when he lost me. He's a good enough fighter. He's exciting enough. Just go in there and fuck people up. I don't need to hear your weird, like, I don't need to hear any of that. Exactly. People aren't yapping about Edwards being boring when his fights look just like Izzy's boring fights. I don't know if I agree with that 100%. I think Leon, the problem with Leon is he's vanilla as a personality. I think if you look at Leon's fights, he's very, very technical. And because of how good his takedown defense is, I think the issue with Leon is he fights at the level of where his opponent is. He always does enough just to beat people. But then if you look at it, he gets out there without ever getting hurt. I mean, how many times have we seen Leon get wobbled? He's in there thinking, I want to keep my brain intact and I want to he's the ultimate definition of a point fighter. I think he has the capability to go out there and fuck people up, but he doesn't want to risk it. And I get that. It's been very successful for him. He's gone on a 14, 15 fight win streak. You stick to what works, innit? I just think a lot of people have biases towards Izzy, and it gets in the way of respectable opinions. See, I agree with that to a certain extent, but I think the reason why that happens is because there are so many people that are up Adesanya's asshole that's where the balance kind of ends up coming from. Do you know what I mean? People end up kind of overcompensating because Adesanya is so there are so many people that are just sucking him off, that people compensate by maybe pushing it in the opposite direction, which probably isn't fair. I find that most fighters are hated because of their fans than anybody else. But Adesanya I just genuinely don't like. But I get why people do. I get why people like him. People yap about Leon's boring fights as well. Hang on a sec. Again, I really just like Izzy. We got to give flowers where it's due. We do. I mean, the guy had 6 middleweight title defenses. He beat some good guys. I don't care if things are boring or not. A win's a win. I have nothing against Israel Adesanya as a fighter, really. There are weaknesses there that's obviously been exploited, but I just think the guy's weird. I think he's weird, and I think he's cringe, and I think he's arrogant. And you can distinguish between the two. Like, I don't like his personality. I think he's a dildo, but I think he's a great fighter. Is he the greatest striker the UFC has ever seen? I don't think so. And I think there's very strong evidence you can point to. What Strickland doing to him most recently would be the most glaring one. You know, I think him dominating him for 25 minutes takes away from that argument. But it is what it is. Leon and Izzy are both overrated. They both refuse to engage and barely squeak by. Edwards lost the 5th to RDA, Cowboy, and Nate. He even pillow-handed Barberina, sat him down. Did Barberina drop Edwards? That must have been a long time ago. Leon is at least 4% more entertaining than Izzy. Paradox, you kill me, bro. Edwards has never faced a striker in their prime. Edwards' level of competition has been heavily criticized, and the way that he wins gets heavily criticized. I mean, let's face it, Leon's best wins are his last 3. Like beating Kamaru twice and beating Colby are probably his 3 best wins. Well, they are his 3 best wins, considerably. But I think that second win he got against Kamaru was the most impressive of all because, boy, nobody does that to Kamaru. Nobody's done that to Kamaru in a very long time, if at all. Leon comes across as a boring personality, but he seems like a good guy, and that is hard to dislike. I think Leon Edwards is slightly quite good. I just don't think he gets I think he's slightly quite funny. I just don't think he gets the exposure. Like I've said this in the past as well. Like the interactions that he was having with Kamaru was quite funny to me. Like he comes across as somebody who's a bitch, and if you see his tweets, yeah, he's quite based as well. He comes out with some funny shit. So I'm like, no, I quite like Leon. I think Leon gets a lot of, and I think that's why a lot of people don't like him because they just see his like his drabby kind of personality, and they just think, and it kind of transfers to his fighting style, which I think is a bit unfair. Barbarino almost killed Edwards. I'd have to go back and watch that. I'd imagine it was a long time ago. Leon Edwards. I think off the top of my head, I think it was in like 2015. I might be wrong about that. I don't know why 2015 is sticking out in my mind. I could be wrong. 2017. So I was definitely wrong. But that was what? Yeah, that's 7 years ago. Not his best performance. The Donald Cerrone one, I mean, he's had a lot of decisions. Gunnar Nelson was a tough fight as well. I don't think it was a split decision. Rafael dos Santos, he pretty much beat him up apart from one round. Nate Diaz was the same. Fucked up Nate Diaz, but it was Nate Diaz. Who cares? So yeah, I mean, he hasn't had amazing wins, being honest with ourselves. But also, he's never been KO'd. He's got 3 losses on his record. One of them was a disqualification, which it was. It was a knee to the face. But he then lost to Claudio Silva by split decision and lost to Kamaru Usman when he was 23 years old. So he's not been starched out by anyone. Yeah. Anyway. I got a second. I've got hang on a second. Oh my god, you did not just say the M word. What M word did I miss? Motivated McGregor kills Islam. I wish that was true, but Islam could literally do whatever he wanted to him. What have you done to prove you can beat Kamaru? Put my shin across his head. The fuck? That was a funny. That's what I'm saying. That was a glimpse into the kind of thing that Edwards is capable of. He's like, how'd you beat him? I was like, put my fucking shin across his head. And it's because that accent just comes across really remedial as well and stupid. If a hypothetical fight between Izzy and Edwards happens, it would be insanely boring. Adesanya is way too big for that guy. If there was no size disparity, it would be the most boring fight of all time, probably. You're right. Just like any greatest of anything debate, it's unbelievably subjective. I do believe that Izzy is an elite striker. I just kind of leave it there. And I think that's fine to say that. I think just going, he's really good. But then when you've got people saying, he's 100%, he's 100% the best striker the UFC's ever seen, it's like, no, bro. Like, you can't say that like it's a fact. And that's the thing. Getting back to Kenny Okoji, he talks about the guys he glazes like he's talking fact. And if you don't agree with him, you're coping. And I fucking hate that expression. Like, it's like I hate people to argue that way. Like, they don't use facts. They just basically go like, if you disagree with me, like you're not admitting it to yourself. You're wrong. And it's like, nah, bro, you have to come with and then they will say things like, oh, like you're not coming with facts when he's doing the exact same thing. His method of arguing is just be the loudest and be the most obnoxious. And the reason why I'm like, I would never argue with him because he would destroy me just on the fact of like, I would try to come at him with like logic and reason and say, look, this is the reason why you're incorrect, or this is the reason why, not even that you're incorrect, but this is the reason why you can't say what you're saying is 100% factual, like you're making it out to be. And he'd just be like, no, bro, you're wrong, you're glazing, and then you end up just getting down in the muck with him and losing the argument that way, just by getting immaturely destroyed. It's like you can't fight with a kid. Like, you just get sucked down to their level. But I've got a lot of respect for what he's doing. He's definitely getting attention. Yeah, Kenny's off his head thinking Izzy is the best striker we've ever seen. It's just like, don't take it too far, bro. Why can't you just say Izzy's a good striker or Izzy's a great striker, which nobody would really disagree with? But saying, no, he's the hands down the best striker you'll ever see and best striker the UFC's ever had. It's like, nah, man, you can't throw that thing around You can't throw that kind of thing around and not get clapped back. And this is where people like Adesanya get more hatred. It's why Makachev gets more hatred. It's not them doing it. It's their fans going just too far. And then people feeling they have to compensate for it. Because your fans shouldn't speak for you as a fighter, but a lot of MMA fans are dumb, and people on Twitter in general are dumb, and they're going to get dragged into those kind of conversations. He doesn't engage. That's why he's never been knocked out. That's a reasonable thing to say, but like again, it's up to his opponent to negate that. If he's able to point fight his way to victory 14 times in a row now, it's down to his opponent to prevent that, and no opponent has been able to do that. He's paved his way to the title and won the title and now defended the title twice in a style that works for him. And he's going to get to the end of his UFC career on the path that he's going and have way less CTE than these other guys are going to have because he stayed safe. If I was an MMA fighter, I'm not even being funny. Like, I would prioritize winning and getting out there without getting my fucking brain scrambled than doing the fucking Justin Gaethje approach and just being like, yeah, man, I'll just like I'll entertain the crowd first, and then 10 years from now, like he's sitting in a fucking like care home with his grandkids coming in. He doesn't know the fuck they are. I'm just saying I can respect that side of the game. Do you know what I mean? And Leon's not the most unexciting. If you actually watch him, he is technically very good. The way he works opponents out, and again, he's somebody who like a very varied striker. His takedown defense is sick. Leon gets a hard time for being boring. I think there's much. It's like when Strickland gets a hard time for being boring. M word equals motivated. Most bullshit word in combat sports. Where Izzy wasn't motivated. Get fucked. It's true. You'll never win an argument with fact, logical reason. Just look at our presidential race, and that's the thing. That's why I wouldn't debate with certain people. I felt kind of bad for Lucas Tracy in that situation when he was debating with him because I'm like, Lucas Tracy's bringing receipts. I'm not saying it was a whitewash like people were saying. I think he clearly won the arguments, but it was like people are going to look at this right now and just hear this guy going, "No, man, you're glazing, you're coping," and be like, somehow he's winning. Just annoys me. I mean, I understand what Kenny means when he says Izzy is the GOAT striker. I don't agree at all, but I see where his head's at. I think it's bias. I genuinely think it's bias. I think it's not based on anything, and it comes across to me as somebody who has been watching MMA for the last 5 years. That's what it comes across. It comes across as ignorance and hubris to me. But it's his opinion, and I think it's and side A, let me just be clear about this. I don't mind that he has that opinion. What pisses me off about him, he goes on, instead of him saying, in my opinion, Izzy is the greatest striker because of this, he goes on like you're stupid if you don't agree with him, and that you're just wrong if you don't agree with him. And I hate people like that. I'd rather people just go, this is what I think, these are my reasons for it. If you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's you in it. Like, but he literally goes on like his opinion, his word is God. Like, and I don't like that, especially when most people would disagree with you. Just my opinion. I think a little bit of humility. It's obnoxious, is what it is. It's obnoxious, and it's just like you can't feel like you can have a reasonable argument with somebody like that. If Pereira and Izzy fought to the death, Pereira wins. If they fought a 1 round 5-minute fight, Izzy would win. That's a good way of framing it. It's such a casual thought to think Izzy is the GOAT striker. I agree with that. And I'm not saying that Izzy is not a great striker. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's been proven measurably that he's not the greatest striker we've ever seen in MMA. 100%. People don't understand that we debate on almost every video we do. Yelling over and over, talking doesn't have a place in a debate, and that's what he does. Like, there have been numerous times where you and I, Anton, have made videos and we haven't agreed with each other. And sometimes I do have a bad habit sometimes of talking over you when I get excited, or cutting you off when I get excited, and I try to avoid doing that. But the one thing I can't tolerate is a shouting match. And it's the way he talks at 1,000,000 miles an hour as well. And he talks like a kid. Like, I didn't realize he was 21. And that might have something to do with it. He does seem like quite immature as well. So he probably hasn't been watching MMA for more than 5 years, and that might contribute to it. Um, I don't know about that one, but I know where you're coming from. Close, you're right. But after he kills Bilal, he will fight Shavkat or JDM. We're gonna get that fight. We're gonna get that fight. The thing is, though, I wouldn't be, and I'm gonna be honest about this. I think Leon is amazing. Bilal carries that same threat. He's the kind of guy that can impose his will in a very, very boring way and get to a decision. And that's why this one's kind of interesting. I think Leon is way better than Bilal as a technical fighter, but I can see a path to Bilal getting his hand raised. I really can, and I'm scared because he's shit and boring and he's delusional. And again, the reason why I hate that bastard is because he literally calls out everyone for being what he is. Like he calls fucking Strickland boring and he calls Leon boring. It's like, bro, you're the most boring guy in the UFC. Do you know how impressive it is to get to the top of a division, to be number one ranked in a division like welterweight, and you've never punched someone and they've gone down? I'm not talking about knocking out. It's very hard to knock people out. I'm saying Bilal has never punched someone in the face and they've gone down. That is next level. That's impressive. To get to number one ranked in a division like welterweight and not even knock someone down, let alone knock them out. That's mad. That is mad. Kenny's brain. Izzy was winning the striking exchanges against Pereira in every fight up until the finish. He also beat Anderson, so he's got to be the GOAT striker. That is his thinking. That's where he's got. But you've also got to remember as well, like, it's the Asian thing. It's the not the Asian thing. So see, I went straight to the Asian thing. It's the Nigerian thing as well. It's also when you sprinkle in like, oh yeah, he's Nigerian as well. It's just extra nonsense. 2 rounds max decapitation. I hope so, and I hope I get to see it live. I want to see Bilal get taken out on a fucking stretcher. I don't want him dead or anything, but I'd like him to leave from the cage with me thinking he could be. Maybe that's going too far. I don't hate him that much, but I want to see him get battered and to the point where he never gets anywhere near the title again. Oh, Brutally Honest MMA is in the building. Do get over to Brutally Honest MMA. I need to shout you because I definitely want to do stuff with you, Brutally. You're I've been watching more and more of your content and fucking hell, man. We definitely need to do something together. So regardless if it's like a live stream or some videos, we can get Antoine involved as well. That'd be sick. I actually think it would be pure comedy if Bilal becomes champion. I might cry. If that happens. I might have a meltdown. I might have an internet meltdown. So you're probably right. It probably would be funny. And I imagine a lot of people would be in the same position because I hate him. Like, I genuinely think I'd have a meltdown. I think it would be brutal. Like, me experiencing that live as well. Oh, I'd hate it. Does anyone want to make a guess at how old Anderson was when Izzy beat him to get a fucking title shot? I think he was 41, you know. He was definitely after 40. It wasn't the best fight. I mean, like I said, I mean, most of the things that I shit on Izzy for is cringy fucking personality. He does mumble a lot. So, Brutally, are you from that part of the country? I'm not going to say it. But are you from down there? Or that side? Ripping a tea. Cheers, bruv. Chris, you're a legend. Yeah, and it was a decision. Yeah, when he had that pink hair, fuck me. I should be more of a Leon fan since it's my brother's gym, but his mumbling pisses me off. I find Leon quite funny. I can't help myself. I think he's had some good interactions, and I think like I get why people think he's vanilla and a boring twonk, though. I get it. You have to really dig deep to find an entertaining segment from Leon, but they are out there. I kind of think the way he laughs is kind of funny as well. It seems like very like patronizing. But like I said, I get it. Like I'm not going to turn around and say to people like as much. Like, I'm a big Leon. Oh, you're in Stoke. Ooh, that's rough. Stoke's fucking grim, if you don't mind me saying so. Stoke is fucking grim. I'm in Stoke. Brother moved to Birmingham. He was one of the early coaches at Renegade with the founder. Fucking us, you must know a lot. It's a good gym, Renegade. But wait, like yeah, Stoke. I don't wanna like I love you, man, but goddamn, Stoke is grim. It's grim. I went there for an away day once. I felt like it was you know like it felt like it was 1964, not in a good way. That place is about 30 years behind everywhere else. I'm in Cambridgeshire, but I'm not from here either. Like I grew up in London. So basically when I had kids, I just moved to the sticks, man. I got a house in front of a really big lake and I'm just chilling like a villain now. I'm like, nah, man, I just want to go somewhere where I don't have to run to the supermarket trying to avoid the getting stabbed in the neck by a 14-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Especially now, you can't go out wearing nice shit in London because people just try to mug you off. And it's usually little kids with knives where you're just like, bro, I'll fuck you up. And then they put a knife out and you're just like, fine. I ain't getting stabbed for a fucking wallet. Do you know what I mean? How is Blackpool? Blackpool's a shithole as well. There's a lot of shitholes in England, to be fair. There's a lot of shitholes in England. It depends what you're into though. Like there's a lot of like beautiful little small country towns in England that I really like. And obviously London is what it is. Manchester is what it is. Birmingham's all right. Like not really. But places like Stoke and like Blackpool, places like that are just grim. There's just scummy little fucking toe rags there. I'm really going off topic now. Sorry about this. I'm kind of going in. I feel like I've been really harsh on Stoke there. I've only been there once. Yeah, but I just remember it does have that 19, it does have that 30 years back in time vibe. You know what I'm saying? About to go on an evening walk. Um, Northwest is another one. If you want to get an interesting perspective on somebody who has like is it fair to say you have like an alternative lifestyle for a YouTuber? Definitely. Get over to Northwest 425. You could get some very insightful, interesting ways of living over there. I personally find it fascinating. I really appreciate you. Stoke is the home of Eddie Hall. Yeah, I didn't know that either. It kind of explains a lot, to be honest. Um, looks nice during summer, but heard otherwise during any other time. It's England is generally grey, so that does help. That does help add to the fucking, you know. What's up, Johnny Cusack MMA? How you doing, Elron? Do you know what? Yeah, John Cusack. I've had that a few times. But I've had like fucking Quentin Tarantino, Elliot Page was another one. The spectrum of my lookalikes, I'm just confused at this point. Like, I can't look like all these people, but John Cusack is one that I will definitely. We've got the same profile. I see the John Cusack. It's good to see you here, brother. Elron Hayimbimbi. I'm just gonna call you Elron. Thanks, Elron. Are you a Rolling Stones or a Beatles guy? I like both, but I'm Beatles all the way. John Cusack is fucking eerily accurate. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a woman who well, I didn't have her, but like when I was living in Qatar, she had a massive crush on John Cusack, and she was just like saying inappropriate things to me all evening, and her boyfriend was there, and he wanted to fuck me up. So yeah, that was an uncomfortable evening. I'll be live for the walk. Sweet. I'm gonna pop over there at some point as well. I'm gonna watch. I need to watch Paradox's video first. If you guys haven't seen that, I'm definitely watching that before I go to bed, and then I'll be over to Northwest for your live as well. Alternative lifestyle means something different here in Florida. Um, I mean alternative for a YouTuber. And you should have beat his ass and stole his girl. I was with somebody at the time. So yeah, probably. Should have gone home with both of them really. I was into those kind of things back then. I would do fucked up stuff like that. Like I said, I'll save those stories for another day. Hell bro, like you even more then. Appreciate that, Chris. Like I said, I like both, but I'm Beatles is just the one. The more the merrier, yeah. Like I said, always supporting you guys here. Like get over to Paradox. He's got the best video on YouTube out right now. I haven't seen it yet, but he tells me on good authority that it is the best. And like I said, Northwest is always great for the live streams. I don't want to give anything away. I'll just say get over there because it will teach you a perspective about things you might not have thought about. And I always appreciate that. It's a very unique concept on YouTube that I haven't seen before. I see Harry Maguire. All right, now you've gone too far. Now you've gone too far. Fucking slabhead. Don't forget to hit up Jake Gerber for a collab. He's on like 3,000 subs. He'll probably tell me to go suck one, to be honest. He messages me back on Insta. I will check out his videos as well. I'm always down for absorbing up new content because I'm a bum. I've got plenty of time to like do stuff. All right, it looks like Fluffy has cleaned out Cow with the votes. I'll take that off because I don't want it taking up too much screen time or screen space. It's good when people get to a certain level and they still message people back and they interact because I'm hoping really that like part of me wants this stream to get massive, but then another part is like I don't want it to be like Guru stream where there's like 10,000 people talking at once. And I can't answer everyone specifically. I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about that personally. Mine is not the best, boring streams usually. I find them very insightful. I really do. And your community is great as well. Like the people you have coming in there, they seem to really care about what you're doing. And that really means a lot, when you have people that consistently come in and show you love, but like it's great. Favorite Beatle, I got Paul as my fave, but if John didn't get tricked by the Dragon Lady Yoko and killed, he would probably be my go with the Beatles. I would probably go with Paul as well. I mean, it's basically out of those two. Steven Strangles has about 140, 150 in, but the chat is at a nice speed. You see, that's the thing. Like I struggle when I've got fucking 20 people in here. But then mind you, yeah, I've only been going live for like 2 weeks, a little bit longer than that. As in I've only been doing streams. Like I've done like watch alongs before, but nobody was pitching up for those. Like I'd have like 2-3 people in the chat. So it was easy to keep up with stuff. Whereas now I'll do a stream on a Monday, Tuesday, and I get between 16 to 20 people in here usually that are just chatting away. So I will get better at it though. Steven Strangles is another one I haven't heard of as well, but that's the thing. I'm like, there's so many good guys out there now and good girls doing it. I mean, I've been hearing about what's her name, Fight Fairy, as well. Not sure she's really my type of content, but in the first month I streamed to no one, and I bet it's fucking awkward. Like I was lucky that I had an existing base of subscribers before I started, but I still used to get like because people are streaming all the time, so it's like god damn, it's like it's very hard to find I haven't seen any of her content, so I can't comment. I've seen pictures of her. I'm not gonna say anything about that, like because I don't want to get down into that conversation again. But I tell you something, Fight Fairy is fucking smart. If she's entering the MMA space, she could have no knowledge whatsoever. She's gonna do very well on YouTube. because it's a fucking sausage pot in the MMA community. The fact that I mean, look at how big Nina Drama is, and she's a fot that doesn't understand anything. People like Fight Fairy are going to bring the simps in. Is simps wanking? Her picks are shit. She said Lerone Murphy is inconsistent. She strikes me as somebody who doesn't know what she's talking about, but it doesn't matter. And this is, again, I haven't seen it for myself. It's just what people have told me. They're like, no, but again, she's smart. Even if she's terrible, even if she's absolutely terrible, she's going to do well. Because she's a woman who's not completely ugly to most. And she's talking about what all of us love. So she's going to do very fucking well. I mean, she's been in the space for 2 months, and she's already 3,000 subs. It's crazy. It's like what you said, brutally. People are just going to be jerking off and listen to her talking about MMA. If I was a woman, I would do the exact same thing. Oh, I'm no one. I was in your first test stream, you wanker. You talking about me? No, Weston. I didn't. Yeah, I was very honest about that. I was like, yeah, you came. Weston's been there from the get go. I don't even know how you found me, bro. It's crazy. Weston's got the he's got like the interconnection to every top MMA streamer out there. Weston's there. Fight Fairy is an irony board. I love that. Now you know I'm brutal. I'm talking to this dickhead. So I was wondering when you were going to start getting vicious. You know how much I appreciate you, Weston. You're my guy. And I am a dickhead. I'm not going to deny it. But yeah, you're right. I think she's going to do really well. Favorite Piggy impression? Which Piggy are you referring to? I think he's talking about me brutally. Weston was probably it was himself and Mikey, who is currently working at the moment. Oh, Guru, my favorite impression of his is probably, again, I don't really watch him too much anymore. I'd say probably Bisping. Yeah, brutally, it's weird because I'd heard of you before, but I didn't know you were doing lives. So now, pretty much when you pop up, I always jump in. That's the thing. It's like I'm running out of like. It kind of works out because a lot of people obviously stream at different times. Like you usually come on before me. Guru's Matt Serra impersonation is the best one. I didn't even know he was doing a Matt Serra because I haven't watched a Guru live stream in about 2 years. There's just no point anymore. There's no point. I think about 2 years ago, yeah, Rebecca. He's got that one down. He's really good at impressions. I remember when he first started introducing that shit. But yeah, the Matt Serra one I've never heard. I've never heard the Matt Hero one, or the Matt Serra one. But yeah, like Guru hit that sweet spot for me about 2 years ago when his chat was popping, but you could get a word in. Like now it's just like too many people up in there. Yeah, it's nice to get in other streams, but a few stream at the same time. I find that streaming between 12 and like 3 o'clock for me is pretty solid because usually you're off, ITP's finishing up. So for me, it's kind of a good time to get on because I don't really want to be competing with other people. Not at this stage. Not really at any stage. I'd rather just get a slot where everybody transfers from one place to the other. So I'm not trying to steal anybody's shine. Not that I could. It's hard for me to pick, but I love his Ariel and his wife one. It's like a perfect Jew impression, like Mort and his wife from Family Guy. I've never heard him do an Ariel Hawani. I saw him in the whole Ariel Hawani get up, but I've never seen him do an actual impression of him. I feel like Guru's getting far too intense lately. He seems very angry at the moment. Maybe he's getting a little bit jaded, which you can probably understand. You know, he's streaming multiple times a day, and he's been doing this for 5 years. He probably very rarely leaves his house because the amount of things the amount he uploads. But if I was making as much money as as he was, I'd probably be able to take it on the chin. Guru hasn't had any arse in months, and it shows. Has he ever? Has he ever? The way he talks, I would get the sense that he's not very experienced in that arena. You can tell. His balls must be fucking blue. They must be black and blue. Balls are fucked. He said he got 11 notches on today's stream. I don't fucking believe that for a second. I don't believe that. I'm not even gunning the guy. Because I'm not saying this because he's like ugly or whatever. I'm not one to pass comment on that. He's not smashing anything. Unless he fucked a cousin or some shit. Bro, when's he getting out of the house to do that? He's been you could tell he was like an incel virgin like 6 years ago. And he's in his house every day. There's no way. Balls are unfucked. Yeah, and again, I'm not shitting on the guy because obviously he does it. He works a lot. He works hard. 11 notches at 25 is perfect. I'll be real with you. Yeah, I was a little bit of a late bloomer myself. Like I didn't start getting it in until I was 18. But when I started, it was like a fucking snowball. Like it just went out of control because I went basically from getting no pussy to too much pussy, and I didn't know how to handle it. I was like a kid in a candy store. Unless you're a one-woman man, that's based as fuck. I'll be honest, yeah. When I was younger, I was not very good at being faithful. Like I wasn't that kind of guy. I was just like, oh my god, like it's coming from all sides. I couldn't resist. Yeah, 11. It kind of depends where you're at as well, and it like 11 notches at 25 is perfect. It's kind of funny. He said he hit some African chicks when he was seeing DDP. I believe it. That's probably the one time. I'm not saying a dude's a virgin. That would be stupid. But he's definitely like, you can tell he's like, you know, he's not that guy. I'll put it that way. Got like 16 and a half of them with ex-girlfriends. 16 and a half. That's so, I would love to see where you got that half from. Yeah, but again, I'm not shitting on the guy. It is what it is. I don't think you need to. Certainly now, there was a time when I thought that kind of thing was important, but now I'm like, it's actually kind of gross. Like, it doesn't really mean anything. Like, because you know when you're younger, you think that getting a girl to smash is like some kind of like achievement. It's not. You figure out very quickly when you're older, like, hang on a second, they actually want it as well. So it's like, it becomes less prestigious. 16 of them, and half of the smashes were my exes. Okay, that makes more sense. I thought you were saying 16 and a half. I was like, what, we getting back to the midget, the smash or pass on the midgets again? I know you're culpable for that kind of banter. It's like, yeah, so it's 16 full-sized women and one midget. So technically 16 and a half. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I've got no idea how many women I've been with. I've got no fucking idea. I couldn't even give you a ballpark. And I'm not saying that to be braggadocious, but I'm just like, there comes a point, and like I said, I'm nearly 40. There comes a point where like very early on, you stop counting. I wouldn't have a clue. I would not have a clue. And I'm not particularly proud of it. I've been on a bit of a stalemate since COVID. Can't lie. No midgets though in the chamber. It's like I've said this in previous chats before. I'm like, you've got to experience it at some point in your life just to know. It's like if there was a 7-foot tall woman, I'd have to give it a try. Just to know. I'd have to, if I was given the opportunity, I would have to find out what is that like. I don't want to go to the end of my life and thinking, what would it be like to smash a giant? and never have got the opportunity. So while I've definitely slowed down in my old age, there's got to be some things I've got to get on the old bucket list where I'm like, yeah. Women are thirsty as fuck. They get rapey at times. I'll tell you as well something, Weston. You know this as well, being an older gentleman. You're not an old gentleman. The older women get, the more fucking thirsty they get. It's mad. It's crazy. Like I technically smashed a grandma once, but she was like 38, so she wasn't like a grandma in that sense. And I was maybe like early to mid 20s, and it turned out she was like an aunt of a friend of mine. I didn't know she was his aunt. That was a whole thing. She was technically a granny. Angie will be very happy that I'm talking about this. I'm just being honest. And bear in mind that I was a lot younger. Nice to see you, Angie, up in the building. Angie, I haven't hit you back up on Instagram yet, but you can always just WhatsApp me. I don't mind that. Amazonian. Never been with an Amazonian girl. Again, I'm not a big statured dude. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't take anybody, and I wouldn't take on anybody who's massive. I'm 37, I've been through them all. Volk picked MVP. I imagine most fighters are going to pick MVP. To be honest, I think by the looks of it, most people are leaning on his side, I would say. No, it's fine. I'm just following you there. No worries. I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. I don't use Instagram. Like I opened it when I was using Twitter, and I just found Twitter more like accessible. I found Twitter easier to use. I like the format a little bit more. Yeah, Volk picking MVP, I'm not surprised about. From what I've seen, most professional fighters are leaning on that side for sure. I want MVP to really win, but I think Gary's going to beat him. But yeah, Weston, I bet you have. Like I said, once you get near your 40s, it's like the stories mount up and the experiences mount up. But no worries, Angie. That's cool. So yeah, if there's anything else you guys feel like chatting about, I'm probably going to stick around for another 10 minutes or so. I've got a few things to do in the morning. But once again, I appreciate all of you. And do get over, like I said, Making the Walk will be streaming tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do one in the evening or not. I'll see. I've got a video coming out tomorrow about something. I think it might be Buckley. I've got a video about Joaquin Buckley that's coming out tomorrow. It's quite old. But I might live stream in the nighttime. Probably not. I'll probably just jump on everybody else's and just get in the chat, because doing this every day is a bit of a pain in the ass. Have you ever cucked a man in front of his wife? That's commonplace in Florida. Laugh my. I can't say I've ever done that. I can't say I've ever done that. I think that Gary is more active. As in, he's more active in the striking. Not that he fights more, but he throws more. And I just think it's going to be very, very. I think it's going to be razor thin. I'm not saying Gary's going to fuck him up or anything. Absolutely not. I reckon because they both know that they're good strikers, I think that they're both going to be tentative. And I think MVP is going to be thinking to himself, I don't want to get flatlined by this fucking loser. And Gary's actually a lot better than people give him credit for. He's very difficult in there. But like, I feel like if MVP wins, he's gonna have to for MVP to win this fight, he's gonna have to knock him out, in my opinion. because Gary's got a lot of volume, and he's more like he's more like kind of technically textbook. So he's going to do things to the judges that are probably going to be a bit more like consistent in terms of the scoring. That's why I think he's going to get it done. But MVP is very unpredictable. He's very quick. I want MVP to win, and I'm not. Would I be surprised if MVP won? Fuck no. It's a very difficult fight to pick, but I'm leaning on Gary just because maybe I'm preparing myself mentally for him getting rid of one of my favorite fighters at the moment, or a fighter that I've always liked and wanted to see do well. So that's my worry. Damn Paradox, that was a beautiful video with a beautiful thumbnail. uh, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. I'm tired of slinging D right now. I might retire, to be honest. I feel you. I feel you. Same take. I think it could end up being a bit of a mute fight. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's what I'm expecting. I'm kind of thinking it will be low output from both of them, and I just think because he's had more of a history of lifting the active. I can see it being a very similar to the Jeff Neal fight, only MVP obviously carries a lot more danger. But I hope I'm wrong. There's nothing more I would love to see than Gary just flat out and his wife crying, sobbing in the corner. I love that. I just think Gary's really good. Gary is the younger man and hasn't lost. I think it's an easy fight to pick. Yeah. Yeah, you can maybe even argue that he's fought better competition as well. Because MVP's fought some fucking cans in his career. He was the ultimate can crusher in Bellator. And like, I know he's only lost 2 fights or whatever, but he got memed out by Lima and obviously beat him in a rematch, but it was very close. And then he lost to Story, who's been fraud checked since then. So I worry. But yeah, get over to Making the Walks live chat tomorrow. I'd like to thank everyone who did subscribe today. I've been very sick for the last 2 days, so these streams have been a little bit more low energy, and I've got to keep my voice down as well because I'm like, I can hear my son like rustling about upstairs, and I don't want to wake him up at 2:40 in the morning. Layla runs straight over to, oh, that would be fucking sick. And the thing is, it wouldn't. Let's be honest, it wouldn't shock anyone if she just literally jumped on his dick in front of everyone. Nobody would be surprised. She seems like the kind of person that when Gary loses, she'd abandon him. She seems like that kind of type. It's like with the dude who, the Polish dude that's been going around on Twitter, where he lost a fight. I don't know if you guys saw this. He lost a fight and then proposed to his girlfriend in the middle of the cage. And there was like 20,000 people in the arena, and she said no. But I mean, it was the dumbest timing, I get, but like, it's brutal. Ian holds back her hair. He absolutely would as well. Just imagine both of them just kneeling down while he's like stroking her hair and combing her hair while she's fucking blowing him. Yeah. Yeah, we went straight to the dark place there, didn't we? Fuck me. Fuck it all. Yeah, you saw the Polish fighter thing. That's been about on Twitter the last 24 hours. The thing is, if I was that woman, I would have said yes and then gone to the back and been like, I'm not marrying your dumbass. Do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have embarrassed him in public like that, because that's cold, man. That is cold. But then again, he's so like, you don't understand how women work. The worst thing to do, or the worst time to propose to somebody, if you've just proven that you can get outmanned by somebody else. So it was a terrible decision on all sides, but I did kind of feel bad for him. It seemed like really stupid on his part, though. I proposed while she was in the shower. You see, this guy gets it. This guy gets it. I didn't know you were married, Brutally. I mean, I didn't assume that you weren't. I don't even know how old you are. I don't even know if you got kids. I try not to ask too many because I give away a lot of personal information on here, and I try not to ask too many personal questions, but it's interesting to know. But proposing in public is always a fucking awful idea. You see, you're relatively young, right? And you get that. It's a terrible idea. Now I'll tell you what, proposing in general was a terrible idea. How about that? If I'm gonna leave you with one piece of advice in this stream, never get married. Never get married. 38 married, one kid, sick. I had a feeling you were. You give off that vibe. And brutally, would you advise people to get married? I'm not shitting on your wife or anything. I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but would you recommend? Hey girl, how you doing, bro? Oh, sorry, how you doing, lady? I'm gonna assume you're a real girl. But yeah, don't get married. I'm scared of that. Yeah, Angie, you shouldn't get married. Getting married is terrible. Do you know what? Yeah, we haven't talked about this. I wasn't sure whether I should bring it up or not about Khabib's boy being. I'm not sure. Did he get killed or arrested or something? I'm not sure what's going on there. The getting married part was all right. We went to Vegas. You see, if you're going to do it that way, that's how you do it. Shotgun wedding. Don't have like a wedding. Don't have like a proper wedding where people turn up. I've never done that. But the marriage part is like the worst part. It ain't great. But hey, girl. I've seen you in here before. It's really nice to have you here. He got killed, I think. That was the vibe I was getting. I mean, it obviously doesn't say anything about it doesn't really suggest anything about the Dagestanis over there, but it doesn't look good, does it? If there's a guy in your camp that's up to that kind of caper, it's not a great look. The being locked into someone financially is fucked. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like once you're locked into that, you can't. Basically, my advice is if you're a man, and I'm sorry for all the women in here who are hearing this, don't marry somebody who makes less money than you, unless you're a fucking idiot. Well, you did some digging because I know you made a video about this, right? What is going on with that? I'm hearing about the details of this for the first time as well, so I'm kind of intrigued. Read WMC. What did I miss? WMC. The Nurmagomedovs are terrorists. I put a lot of dick of work. I'm tired of it now. Women are ravenous. Bro, that is a comment that needed to get out there, to be fair. I can understand why you wanted it read out. That story is crazy. Just read an article that said they'll be investigating those gyms. There's been a lot of weird stuff circulating around Khabib lately. Like he's got the tax issue, now there's this, you know? His organization, apparently Eagle MMA has gone bankrupt. They're closing that down. He's having a rough time. I'll put it that way. There's definitely some yeah. He's having a difficult period. I'll put it that way. Khabib has ties with a guy who funded terrorism as well. It depends. Like I don't know, man. Like the terrorism thing's an interesting one to me because a lot of things are classified as terrorism that shouldn't be. You know, how does the expression go? One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Just a live stream coverage, yeah. You're welcome, Weston. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look into this story as well because there's definitely something weird to it. I'm going to get metaphorically married, not contract married. I hope you can convince a female to go along with that because that's the tricky part. See, what females do is it's a step-by-step breakdown process. It's like they convince you that they're perfectly sane, and it can take many. Never fall for the Oh, I've been with her for 3 years. She must be sane. Don't fall for that. Women are very patient at fending off their or not showing their crazy side or their faults. And then suddenly they're living in your house. There's stages. They come over, they leave a toothbrush, then they've got the sock drawer, and then it all just snowballs. And then before you know it, their house is on the deed, and they're telling you what to do. Look into a guy called Ziauddin Magomedov. He's the guy who went down for the embezzlement and has ties to funding terrorism and is close with Habib. I am going to look that up. This is all relevant, and I'm not Oh, Crystal. This is the thing. This is the thing, Crystal. Yeah, this is why I didn't think you were a female when you first came up in here. It's comments like that. It's truthful, honest comments like that that made me suspicious that you secretly had a dick. I've obviously come to realize that's not true. And by the way, Crystal Miller's another one to check out. Subscribe to her channel. She owns a really nice farm, and she's got a pimp of a hen who just spends his entire day smashing out chickens or hens, obviously. So check that out. It's a fun, easygoing place to go and watch some nice content as well. I like rabbit holes. You seem to me like that, where you're kind of a little bit of a digger, like you dig into things, investigative stuff. I need to stop. When my son goes to school in September, I'm going to step the game up on here. I'm going to start spending more of my daytimes in doing more investigative stuff because it definitely is fun. Link Crystal. Yeah, could somebody link Crystal's channel into the chat, please? That would be really. Remember, we do have like a symbiotic relationship going on here. What do you do for trade? You mean what's my job? I am retired. I retired 9 months ago. Thanks very much, Weston. You're the man. Yes, I am currently retired. I don't think I'm going to be going back to work. I don't really like it. I like waking up at 10 a.m. It's awesome. I was married once and it's fucked. I don't want to be on that position again. Yeah. Most people who are married have that experience or have that feeling. I don't think I've known anybody who's married and has been like, this was a good idea. How did you retire at 37? It was a combination of things. There was a lot of luck to it, but I was basically a grinder from when I was 14 years old. Like I grinded pretty hard, and then I ended up getting into a position where I had a really good salary, and then just ended up like investing it into the right thing at the right time. And I got lucky. I'm not like outrageously wealthy or anything, but I've got like I'm not wealthy at all, but I own my house and I've got enough saved to carry me through to however long. So I'm good. Fuck having a job, 100%. I'm 27 and I need to retire. I was formerly in education. So I did like I taught like elementary and secondary, and then I was a professor for a little while. And yeah, I just invested in the right stuff. I got very, very fortunate in that regard. No, I promised myself when I got to a certain level, I don't want to be fit, get to 55 and then I wake up one day and I'm like, I've got cancer and I haven't enjoyed my life. I'm not like some people. I don't enjoy making money. I enjoy spending it. So that's the way that be. Man had some big crypto bags retiring at 40. It wasn't crypto. It was actually like it was a nutrition supplement company that did very well at the time. So I basically I had like 10 years of like saving, and then I just took a risk. I got on very, very good. What did you teach in elementary? I was mainly so when I taught at primary and elementary level, I taught everything. So I taught English, math, science, religious studies, humanities, but my speciality is English literature. So when I taught in secondary and at university level, I taught English literature. So I'm quite like a book nerd, especially fiction. That was hard. Like the university stuff in particular. Fucking hell. The amount of hours you have to put into that job is mad. And it's very stressful. Getting sleepy, y'all behave. Um yeah, I think I'll give it maybe 15 minutes. Seeing as we're getting all personal and whatnot. But no, in terms of the marriage thing, like yeah, I'd strongly advise anyone to do against it. Just find somebody cool and just bone them a lot. That's the advice I'd give you. And don't let them move into your fucking house. That's my advice. I don't mean to be the harbinger of doom, but it just doesn't work. But nice to have you here, Weston, man. I really appreciate it. It's good to have you here, Crystal, as well. I haven't seen you for a little bit. I was and it's 3 o'clock in the morning for you, so you're I agree with you on married. Are you married, Jay-Z? I don't know. And again, it sounds like a fucking base thing to say. It's just from experience. Like I can't experience a certain thing and then just say, yeah. She's already got you. Close, she's already got you. If she's moved in, you're fucked, mate. It's a matter of time. Night Western, I'll see you tomorrow, brother. I'll probably see you in well, I'll see you in various chats. I'm going to be doing the rounds tomorrow. My girlfriend, sorry, feminism has ruined a lot of women in the same age, so it's a buyer beware thing. That's a really good way of putting it. We got in whenever Crystal turns up, we always get into it with a bit of gender, and I appreciate having Crystal and Angie around because both of you are not those type of women. You're a bit more realistic. My girlfriend of 2 years moved in and has been starting to get uppity. Is it the beginning of the end? Yeah, bro. Yeah. As soon as she moved in, that was the beginning of the end. I'm sorry to say. I joined the military out of high school, so I've already been divorced. We've talked about military relationships. Military relationships are some of the hardest because fuck me. They it's that separation. Personally, I would love a military relationship because I'm of the absence makes the heart grow fonder persuasion. But that's a tough one. It is 8:57 at night for me, but I've been busy. I've been helping the husband at the shop and stuff. Apparently, I'm a very good gopher for. Yeah, you're on a good thing. Take care, Angie. Have a good one. Enjoy your run. Um, Kenny Akoya. I can't get him out of my mind. He's got me. I've been reeled in and like I'm like a fish that's been reeled in and he's beat me over the head with an oar. Um, you need to neglect emotionally. I hate to say it, but he's got a point. He's got a point. You can't be too nice and the more you do, the more they'll expect. And that's what I've come to learn as well. Camping is intense. Funny paradox joke. Yeah, go for this, go for that, hand me that over there. You seem like a very obliging individual though. You just do. Judging by your videos, you seem like a very optimistic person. You need to neglect emotionally, inspire hope. So it's about like so what Brutally is basically suggesting to you young men out there is you need to pull back and then just when they're about to give up, lean back in and make them feel like they're getting somewhere. So basically, fuck with them emotionally is the advice. Fuck, be right back. Gonna eat really quick. No worries, Sade. I hope if I don't speak to you again before the time we go off, I hope you have a great time camping, mate. I miss my days camping. Had a great time. It's been a long time. Inspire hope and separate entirely. That reminds me of the Dennis system. Where are we? Well, not only that, you need to set clear boundaries, let a girl know. And this is the thing, yeah, this is an enlightened female telling you this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. See, that's my feed them scraps. That's what keeps them into you. I need to join the Church of Kyle. This could, I'm telling you now, yeah, it is the Dennis system. This is what I'm saying, yeah. This could turn into a men's support group. And then we could have like a couple women in here who were just like our, what's the word? Like our supporters in a way. Get some based women going in here. The Dennis system works. What was it? How does the Dennis system go again? Fucking hell. I remember one was like neglect emotionally or something. There was a few. Test subjects is a great one. The thing is, yeah, we've got Crystal. Crystal in here is like, hang on, lab rats. Demonstrate value is a sick one. That is so funny. That is so funny. Demonstrate value is hilarious. And then what was it? It's separate emotionally. I can picture the whole process in my mind now. It's fucking hilarious. The Dennis system does work. Here, I'll give you one of the first things that has me not having a large group of female friends. They sit there and brag about some of the stuff they put their husbands through. And let me tell you, yeah, this is a factual thing. I was actually with somebody for a long time, and I overheard one of these conversations. And they enjoy making your life miserable. It's like when you're with somebody for a long time, it's like when they see that you're comfortable, they get resentful of it. I've learned most of my relationship advice from people like Bill Burr, and Bill Burr's take on how you argue with women literally saved me from committing murder. I swear to God. Nurture dependency, engage physically. Oh my God. It starts, so the first one is demonstrate value, then it's engage physically, then is it neglect emotionally, I think is the next one. Then it's, what's the next one? The next one's another N. Fuck me. Inspire hope is the last one, and then the very last one is separate entirely. There's one that I'm forgetting. That's one of the greatest television episodes of all time. If this ever got out to women, we'd all be fucked. It's like with the Bill Burr one, yeah. When Bill Burr talks about how to win an argument with a woman, if that ever gets out, we're back to square one. Because I swear to God, when Bill Burr told me about or not told me, but told the world about his take on how to deal with women when they argue, changed my life, man. Nurture dependency. That's it. So does nurture dependency comes first, doesn't it? What is the Bill Burr one? The Bill Burr one, it's when he talks about turning that franchise around. So basically his concept is that with women, like women basically, what you do is when they're arguing, if they stick to the point and they're winning, just let them have it. So if women are winning an argument, they'll stick to the point and they'll stay that way. But when they start to lose, they'll go off road. They'll go off road basically, and they'll try and use your insecurities against you to get you mad. So you basically lose your temper and call them a cunt, and that's when you lose. So it's like, and you know what happens when you have a woman that's been with you for a long time. They figure out what it is about you that makes you the most angry. Because I've had exes in the past that literally, as soon as they're losing an argument with me, they'll go straight to that. It might be a comment about my mother, it might be a comment about my relationships I've got with my family, whatever. And then once they go there, you know you're fucked. Or so not even you know you're fucked. You know they're losing and they're trying to make you angry. And then once you get angry and call them a cunt, you've lost. So it doesn't matter what they've done. So Bill Burr basically said in that situation, when they start going off, when they stop arguing about what the argument was about, just be quiet. Like take a knee and you've won the argument. You just got to see out the argument. And like him saying that to me has taught me how to argue with women now. And now I end up kind of winning. I end up kind of winning in most situations. There's multiple chicks in it. I can tell you from experience. I can tell you this, Chris. Crystal is definitely a female, and Angie is definitely a female. I know that Hagel's in here from time to time, but I don't know her to say confidently whether she's a female or not. But God, I wish I was staying at this. I wish I was gay at this point, bro. The problem is though, yeah, if you were gay, the dynamics would be the same. I thought about this as well. I was like, God damn, I wish that I loved a good bit of dick. Like, I wish I did. My life would be easier. But the problem is then you get women that act like, no, I know Angie, she's not trans. What do you call it? Because then you're just gonna get a dude who argues like a female. Why did God have to give me an addiction to black puss? It's the hand you were dealt, sir. It's the hand you were dealt. Brutally, in case you're wondering, yeah, this is like what we do here. This is what we do here. It gets dark and it gets there fast. I'm sorry, bro. Just shag their mom or sister or best friend. You see, this is a guy who's like, I can tell that Brutally is several steps ahead. This is where you get to the kind of the professionals in here. Anton knows as well. Anton, I know you love these conversations. The thing is, yeah, I'm just going to let you guys cook. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to piss off some people in here. They hate when we talk, and it always ends up going back here. But I don't think coming to me for relationship advice is the worst thing you could do. I've got a hell of a lot of experience. Lol, I lurk and brutally honest chats every once in a while. Welcome to the bros, bro. I'm female, but I understand the apprehension of dealing with modern women. I don't envy you guys. I think we could all appreciate that. Definitely. And I don't mean you any disrespect, but I'm not saying you're not a female. I'm just saying I don't know you to know either way. And I think you know full well as well, there are plenty of dudes on here who go around pretending to be female in order to get engagement. If you see it on Twitter all the time, it's crazy. I don't know what to stack my money in. I might drop 20K on Take-Two stock. I've never been somebody who's been involved with stocks because it's just a little bit too it's a bit too unstable for me. I think what you need to do, or here's what I did when I took to acquire what I had. I knew somebody who was doing a startup that had been working on it for many, many years, and I knew them personally. So I knew that what they were putting into it. You have to know the ins and outs of what you're gambling on. Take-Two is putting. Oh, that's a good point. If Take-Two has stock, that seems like a no-brainer to me because GTA 6 is probably going to be the greatest selling game of all time. And they're charging like $120 on it. Isn't that insider trading? With stocks and stuff, it is. If you know somebody who's doing a startup who's about to enter into the market, it technically is. But like, to be honest with you, mate, insider trading is the only way to make money in that game. That's what it basically is. People who know when a company is going to rise and fall, and that's how you make money. You don't make money from being honest in the stock game and being honest in the or if you do, like very, very rarely people do that. It's about who knows stuff and who doesn't. Everything in life is a big Ponzi scheme. Banking's a Ponzi scheme. Stocks are a Ponzi scheme. Crypto's a Ponzi scheme. It's all bullshit. Basically, the very few people who are in the know take money from the people that don't. And that's the whole game. And that's why like 0.1% or 0.2%, I think it literally is, of people control all the wealth. That's just the way it is. So when you get a little window into being able to take something for yourself, you cheat and you take it every way you can. How you doing, Side? We were talking about not getting married. Shady's back. Take Two GTA 6 is $160 a share right now. I bought 2K at $145 a share. I'm so tempted to move my entire mutual fund into it. I can see where the temptation comes from. Me personally, yeah, I'm not really much of a gambling person. I'm not. It could have gone horribly wrong for me. It was either going to be the gamble paid off and I'm good, or I'm fucking working for the rest of my life. And I was one of the very few lucky ones. Wait, what did Paradox say that I missed? I'm not gonna lie, I have a female profile on Reddit in order for fat nerds to give me items on Elden Ring quicker. You see, Paradox understand. I'm not gonna lie, Paradox. I suspected that you did. You seem to get it because men are incredibly stupid. Let's just call it what it is. Men are dumb. There are Twitter accounts out there blatantly that are, and especially MMA Twitter accounts of females who have thousands and thousands of followers, and they're not fucking females. It's genius. It's what you do. How do you think the Tates got so rich? Pretending to be women. It's not gay at all. It's genius. Fuck it, I'm dumping my savings into Take Two. Let it ride. Oh, bad. You seem like that kind of dude. Bro's getting sugar daddies to pay for his dick. Frankie, favorite Coronation Street character of all time? That psycho Scottish dude. Oh no, that was from EastEnders. That's Trevor. Oh, who's my favorite Coronation Street character? I'm probably gonna go with Steve. It's Steve. Steve. Steve's my guy. Right, Michael. I need to go to binge dumb shit to fall asleep to. Catch you later. Thanks, brutally. Give me a shout. We'll definitely get into something. We'll definitely get. We have to do something together. 100%. It's inevitable at this point. I got David. Yeah, David was a psychopath. He's up there for me as well. Steve's the man. There's something about Steve that I just find very amusing. I could watch him all day. Crystal, I have a goldfish memory. Just talking shit, Crystal. You're all right in my book. I'm usually super conservative and averaged 12% ROA per year since I was 19. I must wait to send it once. The thing is, if you've got money savings, you're doing the wrong thing. The truth is, yeah, you have to use your money to make more money. I read Get Rich Slow when I was young as fuck, and I've stuck to that BS. Yeah. Yeah, Tristan literally admitted to doing that. Yeah, they would basically catfish men and get them to hand over their life savings. Both of them doing that. Like, it's the fucking, like, I mean, they're at a point where they can basically say what they want now. They're uncancelable. But that is greasy though. Basically just getting dudes to wank off and sending money to them. I hate to say it, but it's fucking smart. It's fucking smart. It's disgusting. I would never do it. But it's fucking smart. Nothing surprises me anymore. I keep a few K on hand for emergency, but 99% is invested. Like, the thing is, if you're somebody that can live that way, all power to you. And you seem to know what you're doing. So, like, I think it takes somebody. That's the thing. Sometimes to get ahead in life, you have to take a risk. And as long as you're not going to end up jumping over a bridge over it, then and you're willing to say, do you know what, I'm willing to start again, it's fine. Crystal, I've got an eye on you, bitch. I'm a little bit behind, aren't I? Welcome back, Side A. Again, if I don't speak to you again before you head off, have a great camping trip, brother. Hang on a second. I'm way behind in the chats because I'm shit. No, they had women do it for them and stuff. So they did a little bit of both because they said what they did was they had they got women to do the camming stuff, but they said that the women didn't know how to speak to the men, so they would hide behind and type for the women, which to me is a very bizarre thing to admit to. The Dougie's Corner beef continues. What's the Dougie's Corner beef? I have trained in a martial art. Technically, I did judo when I was younger. So the soy martial art. I did the soy one. Sorry if I'm a little bit behind. So it was a combination of both. That to me is gay. Like, it's gay. Like, you jumping online and basically getting a guy to jerk off to send you money is as gay as it gets. And that's what they were doing. They were basically sexting with dudes or getting them emotionally invested in them to send them money. And then they would brag about how they got men, they ruined men, getting them to send their life savings and how stupid they were. It's fucking awful. And why don't you pick up BJJ in your retirement? What I'm planning on doing is I've got a son who's turning 4, and I've actually got him starting a kickboxing class next week. So I'm going to be one of those parents who like watches what the coach is doing, and then I'm going to practice with him at home. So I'm going to get him to do Muay Thai and BJJ. Yeah, the whole typing thing, Paradox, you're right, is just creepy as fuck. And I mean, it's unquestionably gay. I mean, you saw Tate's video about saying that would you rather fuck a tranny who's a 10 or a woman who's a 1? So he's got some very interesting sus. So he was like, to be honest, the video was funny. I don't know if you guys saw it. He was like, his argument was like, would you fuck a 10 who looks like Megan Fox that has a dick, or would you fuck a 1 who looks like Hulk Hogan but has a pussy? And it was an interesting argument. But the way that it was is that what he was essentially saying is that both scenarios were kind of gay, which was interesting to me. It's like, why are you making us have this choice? Like, it's bizarre. Yeah, thanks, Hago. I appreciate that. I had a feeling you were going down the same lines. I love being correct. But yeah, no, I'm gonna definitely do so yeah, Jay-Z, that's the plan. It will be Muay Thai, and because my sister does Muay Thai already, she's like an amateur fighter and she's really good. I've seen her fuck girls up. So she's really good. And then I've got so I'm gonna get my son into it. My eldest daughter, who's 21, she's like quite a high degree in karate as well. So we got her doing it when she was quite young. And she'll fuck people up as well. I've never seen a more insecure man than Andrew Tate. Yeah, Andrew Tate just has a way of speaking to. Andrew Tate's come along at a perfect time where we're in a very woke situation in the world right now, where men are feeling ashamed of being like, heterosexual, and like, I wouldn't go as far as to say, but you feel like you're the one who's being targeted now. You feel like you're the minority, even though it's complete bullshit. So you hear somebody like Tate being like based and whatnot. And then yeah, you get behind him, and he's managed to get a lot of people behind him in that way. Only to be better in jiu-jitsu tournaments though. Judo class was kind of whack sometimes. Judo class was soy, but I learned a lot from it in terms of like discipline, and when you get fairly high up in judo, you can be very dangerous out on the street, like, because again, it's about using someone's power against them. It is gay and all, but I think what these dudes were actually proving is how much women truly do rule the world. And then they sit there and claim that they have women's suffrage. It's a very good point, actually. It's a very, very good point. Bro, trust me, sparring BJJ is the next level compared to training at home. The hardest part is going to the first class, and that's what it is. I figure I'm going to do it through him, so I'm going to get him involved in it because I want him to be able to defend himself. Yeah, that was basically his argument side A. So it's like, would you rather fuck a man or cyborg? Basically, that's basically what he was saying. Like the Megan Fox with a dick argument or Hulk Hogan with a pussy argument. It's just a very weird way to frame an argument, and they're both gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've got plenty of gay friends. I've got no issue with people having those kind of inclinations, but like I don't get how you're framing it like that. No way you have a daughter that's older than me. I do. I had a kid when I was very young. Very young. I regret doing hard sparring as a kid. I recommend trying to get your kids to avoid hard sparring until worth it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that either. Basically, for my son, I was speaking about this on stream yesterday because he's going to school soon. And basically, what I want is hopefully he'll just settle to it like a duck to water and he doesn't have any issues because he's a very sociable, like kind of lovely kid. But if anyone tries to bully him, I want him to just put an ass whooping on somebody, just that one person. I want him to fuck someone up so the rest of them kind of know. Do you know what I mean? I'm a fucking old man, Chris. I told you, man, I'm 40 this year. And the thing is, yeah, like I used to throw my dick out there a bit too much. Like, you know that phrase, don't be silly, wear a Jimmy? I didn't take that advice. There were other rhymes as well that we learned as kids that I should have really picked up on. Oh, the hot crazy metrics is a real. I've looked that up. The hot crazy metric is a real thing. It's like a line graph, right? I don't know if you call it a line graph. It's called the hot crazy paradox. You should look that up. Somebody did a video on that. It's fucking brilliant. Getting hit in the head by a heavyweight as a 14-year-old might not have been good for my head. CTE is a real thing, brother. Gonna play some DK jungle beat with the bongo drums. I've got that somewhere here as well. I've got that kit, which probably won't surprise you. Here, but yeah, the hot crazy metrics is a real thing. My man had me look at that and I almost died laughing. The funniest things are true. Yeah, it's called the hot. Let me see if it. Hang on a second. I'm gonna look. Let's look up hot crazy matrix. Yeah, there's a few people who have done these videos. Let me see if this guy's. Hang on a sec. I think it was a comedian who did it. Oh, yeah, so this will I don't. This isn't the guy I remember seeing doing it. Um, That's all it takes, bro. Just one whooping off the bullies, and they never. That's what I'm saying. When someone tries to make a move on my son, I'm gonna give him some very simple advice. I'm gonna be like, the first couple ones, son, I'm gonna let you have. So when I get pulled into school for you whooping someone's ass, I will defend you. But you need to make sure that the whooping is nice and severe, so that nobody else comes near you again or tries to fuck with you again. Hopefully, it won't come to that, but. Gonna play some Sunshine instead. Mario Sunshine's a great game. You can never go wrong with a Mario game. I forgot my clap sensor is broken. Hot crazy paradox, sure, but yeah, that was something, and it's completely true. It's completely true. Crystal, can you summarize to some extent what it means? Because I feel like every man and every woman needs, especially young men need to understand this. Because I'm seeing this nerdy guy with let's see the crazy matrix. Hang on a sec. Hot crazy matrix. Hang on. Where is it? No, this is different. That's like a legit. So basically, the guy you want to look for. I'll pull this up. Hang on. I'll let you guys see it. Hang on. So this is the one that's some kind of known. Oh man, if you're a man, you need to understand this 100%. It's basically understanding like the correlation between how hot and how crazy a girl is and how to navigate that entire process. It's way more important than taxes, my friend. This is way more important than money. If you have a dick and you plan on using it a lot, you need to understand the hot crazy matrix. You need to educate yourself. It's like a 7-minute video on YouTube. Look it up. It will blow your mind. But the thing is, yeah, there's a white dude with glasses. I haven't seen him doing it, so I'm not sure if he's the right one. He might not be. It might. I can't remember where I first heard about it. Please make me understand. All my exes end up being crazy. Now I'm not going to talk for Crystal here because she seems like she is cool. So from a woman's perspective, the more attractive she thinks she is, the crazier she's going to be. Just want everyone to keep that in mind. That's kind of it at a basic level, but it gets into it. The conventionally hotter the girl gets, the crazier. It's kind of like that, but it gets a bit deeper into it. It's more about the warning signs as well, and just how to navigate it. Like present company is. What do you think of True Geordie? I used to really like him. I used to really like him, but now I think he's a bit of an arrogant cunt. But I still watch his videos from time to time. My biggest issue with the Geordie is he thinks he's funny and he's not. But outside of that, you're looking for James Yeager. That's the guy, the hot crazy mate. So I just literally had pulled that up. Sorry, I got distracted for a second there. So it's this one here. In case you're wondering, it's this dude. I believe that's right, isn't it, Crystal? I mean, look at him. He looks like he shouldn't be giving advice to anyone about pussy, but this is the guy. 6 million views speak for themselves. 6.4 million views. There you go. Since 2019. Yeah, this is a comedian's take as well. No matter how hot she is, no matter how cool she seems, nobody, somebody somewhere is sick of her shit. And there it is. Hotness scale and attractiveness scale. Now he likes the shit on the chest. Yeah, I never saw the leak. I heard about them, but I never read through them because I figured like if I read them, there's no unringing that bell. Do you know what I mean? And I can't really, to be honest though, like I'll be real. Like I've never had sex with girls in the past where I'd be like shove a dildo up my ass or shit on my chest. I wouldn't say anything like that, but I've had some dark conversations with females in those kind of situations. So I'm not even gonna judge because there's a very big disparity between what you say in a text message with somebody and what you do in real life. Isn't that guy a creep? Um, I mean, aren't we all? Aren't we all? Bro, reading them is like watching two girls in one cup. Yeah, yeah, two girls in one cup is fucking dark. It's disgusting. Is that the thing? Is maybe I'm incorrect in this one? Isn't the two girls with one cup it's like it's to do with transferring fluids from one person to another. Yeah, I'm with you, Side A. He's a good dude. He just like and the thing is he still is considering how big he is, he's still relatively relatable. Like I don't think he's completely lost his I don't think he's completely lost touch. I think True Geordie's all right. I really do. I think he's a decent bloke. He's not a creep. I think calling him a creep's a little bit too far. He's into a little bit of kinky stuff, but most people are. Yeah, two girls, one cup is the grossest thing you're ever gonna watch. Long story short, it's scat porn. Yeah, from what I understand of it, it's oh, it has to do as far as I understand, and I can tell if I had seen it, I would tell you. But I think it's like transferring feces or transferring cum. It's one or the other or both, and I'm guessing it's feces. I've seen worse than two girls and one cup. I believe it. If I met True Geordie, I'd like him, but he's a dickhead online now. Yeah, Paradox, you're 100% right there. I think he's somebody you could have a beer with. The girls in the video are dead now. Oh shit, really? I did not know that. I don't know who the girls are. To be honest, yeah, I'm not a prude, but I don't really like watching disgusting shit. Like I'm not into that. If I see if I see somebody watching like if I see somebody who's been murdered or something, because you know those things are kind of popular on the internet right now, where you see people getting shot and whatnot in real life. I don't watch that kind of shit. I think it's kind of sometimes I can't help but pull my eyes away, but I tend to avoid stuff like that. And people probably both overdosed. It wouldn't surprise me if it was ice cream. Copium. Geordie is a cuck. The fact he still shows his face in public after the DMs show how far we've fallen. I never. That's the thing. To be honest with you, Betty, I know of the DMs, but I've never read them. I heard the gist of it. I heard there was something to do with getting shit on his chest, and there was something about him taking a big black dildo, but I've never read them. And part of it is because I occasionally like to watch his content, and I'm thinking to myself, if I see the extent of what a fucking deranged fucker he is, I probably won't watch him again because I'm like I don't consider myself to be that judgmental, but there's some things here where you can't really unring that bell. Do you know what I mean? And if it gets really dark, it's crazy. Probably both overdosed. Thank you, Black Betty. Finally, sorry guys if I'm a bit behind. Finally, the truth. Black Betty always comes with the fact burgers. To be honest, Black Betty has a special talent for cutting through the bullshit immediately. Yeah, I agree with you. Very much the kind of guy you could have a beer with, but he's yeah, like I said, a bit of an annoying cunt. It depends. I mean, I don't blame people for looking past stuff like that. Let's talk about watching porn for a second. It does your sentences as far as the experience. Okay, that being said, so just watching people die on the internet or even in movies. Yeah, so I'm not into that kind of what do they call it? They call it like snuff porn pretty much. I'm not into anything like that. It kind of ruins your brain a little bit and you don't want to do that stuff. I think it's very much different on the person, but I think generally stuff like that, especially things that ruin your relationships with people, it's a problem. It depends on the maturity of the person. One guy, one jar. Oh fucking hell. Um, no, fuck it. Read it on stream for the culture. Um, do you know what? I might do that at some point. Just get True Geordie's streams, DMs up. I don't know if I don't know if I've got the stomach to do it before I go to sleep. Yeah, I'm not really a big porn person. No comment, Crystal. Oh Lord, I saw that one way too young. Which one are you talking about, hey girl? Do you mean the two girls in one cup or the one guy, one jar? That can't be real. Like that sounds dark. How'd you find out, Chris? Look at my message. Side secretly the director of Two Girls, One Cup and number one fan. You can do word on the street spread fast. Yeah, especially dark shit like that. It's amazing how quick it gets there. Two kids in one sandbox. I don't even know if I want to ask. What is one guy, one jar paradox? I feel like, do you know what? Yeah, I feel like I can understand. Um, but it's like I would never watch them, so I don't mind them being shared in the chat. You got Simon or the guy who needs Sopaj. I've got Simon in a parlay because I think the guy who needs Sopaj, what's his name again? Vinicius something. It's Vinicius. It's not Vinicius Salvador, is it? That's a different person. It's Vinicius something. Sopaj is decent. So it's Vinicius Oliveira. I'm going with Ricky Simon. And I don't know why I keep falling for it, but I just think he's got more experience and he's fought better competition. And I don't know how Vinicius Oliveira is going to do against somebody with the wrestling credentials that he has, but we'll see. Wait, what are you talking about? Hang on a second, I've missed a bit here. So yeah, close for you. I've got Simon, but it's a tough one because he got fucked up by Song Yadong, so I don't know. I told you not to get into it, and now we're at Sandbox. You know me, Paradox. What's going on over there in Washington? One guy, one jar. He refused to go to the hospital and pick the pieces out of himself. Fuck, what does that mean? Man shoves a jar up his ass, right, and it breaks. The worst one I saw was Ghost Rider. What? Okay, I have to ask now. What the fuck is Ghost Rider? Because that sounds. I've got all kind of things coming to mind with that one. Never watched it though. I'm not fucking retarded. Oh, sure, Paradox. Hey, go. It's so bad. The goat shed should just be shut down for begging Sopaj to go out in the third round. Yeah, that was brutal. Like his corner guys clearly don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. They should have thrown the towel in. Ghost Rider was a sick movie. I wanted it to be good. I really wanted it to be good. Nicolas Cage is like a Nicolas Cage is a guilty pleasure of mine. I did love Ghost Rider as a kid. I was it at Halloween once. I hope one day you can share that photo with me because that must have been a really sick and very difficult costume to pull off. That's one of the more difficult ones. Y'all are making me think about taking down my baby goats video. Again, we've just had 3 people in a row. We've got Crystal Miller, we've got Paradox the Chad, and Side have all got YouTube channels. So if you subscribe to me, them are people, subscribe to them as well. I'm probably gonna have to hit the head soon. I've been on for 3 hours again, and as much as I'm enjoying this, I'm gonna be up for the next 4 hours thinking about what you guys have just been talking about. I watched Ghost Rider high on edibles in Belize, and it was the dopest thing ever. See, that would be the kind of movie you should watch when you're off your tits. I can imagine it would go up exponentially in enjoyment if you did it that way. So Paj wanted to quit going into the third, and his corner begged him to continue. It was like with that. It reminded me of when what's her name, the current bantamweight champion, Pennington was getting battered by Amanda Nunes, and she was like, "I'm done. I can't go out there again. She's killing me." And they were like, "Get back out there, you dumb slut." And then she got finished like 60 seconds later. Frankie, watch the video of MMA Guru reading True Geordie's leaked DMs in his voice. It's hilarious. I've never seen that. I assume he'd do something like that. Do you know, if I am gonna listen to what was in those DMs, that's probably the best way to do it. To have Guru reading them out. But yeah, that sounds sick, Side. I'm gonna do edibles one day, and I'm gonna do shrooms one day. I have to do it. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate. Can you send it to me on Can you send it to me on Twitter? I would appreciate that. I'll jump onto it because I'm gonna head to bed in a minute because I want to watch before I get too tired. I want to be able to watch. Is Ghost Rider a good movie? Objectively, it's not, but it's one of those movies. It's one of those movies. Hey girl, where it's really bad, but it's funny bad. Do you know what I mean? It's funny bad, and you can see what they were going for. It takes itself a little bit too seriously, but it's enjoyable. It's not like the kind of bad movie where you're like, oh my god, this is just awful. Watchmen is kind of like that. When I first watched Watchmen, I thought it was actually good, but then when you go back, you just realize how fucking corny and terrible it is, but in a good way. It's like campy. Do you know what I mean? But no, you guys are close. It's really nice to have you here. I hope we get you back more regularly. You've been a great addition today. Side is always great. Chris Gray is always great entertainment. Paradox is fucking based as fuck as well. I love having Paradox in here. Um, Obviously, I'm really grateful for having you in here, Crystal. If there's anyone else who's still in here that I'm missing, like Side is obviously the man, and Hago as well. Thanks for having you in here as well. It's been great. We could definitely do with some more real females up in here because it's definitely turning into a bit of a sausage party. And we do have a couple of females in here, so you wouldn't be without company. Not that you need that. So thanks to you for turning up today as well. If there's anybody else that I've missed, close again, thanks very much. I hope I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but I'll get it right. And obviously Black Betty, you're a legend as well. More females and ITP streams. It's nice. It's nice to because I do have some like friends and people that I was friendly with who come in who were females. Like, so I have female friends as much as I rag on them. As much as I rag on the whole gender. But much love to all of you. Really, you've been fantastic. And again, I know all of you are subscribed, but if you ever get an opportunity to send people over, it's really appreciated because I'm really trying desperately to get to a certain level. It'd be nice to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year, but I'm not expecting it really. You guys are all fucking awesome. I'm going to go back to the song requests as well. Before I go, I will say that as much as I do rag on females, they make great friends. Like they make great friends. Like female friends are the most insightful to talk to. I've learned more about women talking to other women than I have living through stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of my friends are girls. I tried to show up the other night, but I don't have good internet in the shop. I was only able to watch you on the TV where I can't comment. The fact that you're doing that is so legendary. Like Jesus, like Crystal, you are unbelievable. And I will remind everyone, Side, Crystal Miller, Paradox to Chad. If you're still lingering around in here, get over to those channels because they all got really interesting personalities and they're all doing really good things on YouTube. So get over there. And hopefully I'll see you guys. I'll probably be on tomorrow, but if not, it will be Wednesday. I've definitely got a video coming out tomorrow, but I better hit the head. But thanks to all of you. And sorry if it was a bit low energy today. I've been sick since I traveled from Dublin on Sunday. So hopefully in the next week, I'll be able to get things back up. Thanks, Hey Girl. Thanks to everyone. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you again soon. In a bit, guys. Much love.